That is misinformation that has been propagated in this country since the 90s, and it has grown for whatever reason, even though every time we test it, we do a study, we look at the research, we see that there's definitively no relationship. And third of all, referencing the Hep B sexually transmitted. That's not true. Okay? We see a majority of individuals with Hep B do not have it because of sexual transmission, but rather because a woman with Hep B genetically passed it off to her child. That is one really big reason why the Hep B vaccine should be given to newborns. Thank you for the galaxy. I appreciate that. And fifth of all, this is very harmful. Everything I just told you is very harmful to women because guess what? Tylenol is the only recommended over-the-counter painkiller or pain reliever for pregnant women. Advil, aspirin, all the other ones have been demonstrated to be so very harmful to pregnant women, as well as, the fetus is growing inside of their uteruses. It causes spontaneous miscarriages. It causes deformities in the babies, as well as it will thin the blood of the pregnant women, and we've seen women be significantly more likely to bleed out during labor and childbirth due to being on painkillers such as aspirin or Advil. So that's why they only recommend Tylenol. So there are your updates of the day. At the end of the day, do not trust the 34 count felon that thinks windmills cause cancer into giving you medical advice. Okay? If you're a pregnant woman and you're in pain and you think you need painkillers, talk to your OBGYN. Do not listen to quote unquote Dr. Trump. So those are the big recommendations of the day. Now, something else that I think is going to happen is Tylenol is going to sue the shit out of the Trump administration. And it is going to be a multi-billion-dollar lawsuit that they are probably going to win. Now, the downside, this is going to be paid for by us, the taxpayers. But the upside is that this will make Donald Trump look so terribly bad, which we need to see right now, because it's no longer your crazy uncle that you only see on Thanksgiving that's espousing misinformation about autism in a relationship to Tylenol or vaccines. It's the president of the goddamn United States of America. Now, at this time, we are going to go ahead and hop into the debate. So if you are watching, if you're one of the very first 6.2 thousand people hanging out with us on TikTok, go ahead and hop in the guest request. If you support Donald Trump as president, we're going to get you up here. We're going to have a conversation. Let's do that now. In fact, I would like the first guest, the very first Trump supporter, to give us their thoughts on everything that we just went over in relation to Donald Trump's press conference from the Oval Office yesterday. I'm just going to go ahead and repeat the rules one last time for everyone in the queue before we hop into the debates. The rules are very simple. Please just make sure that you're following them. You have to be an American adult that is at least 18 years old that supports Donald J. Trump as president. You have to be MAGA. If you find your way into the queue and you're violating those rules, like for instance, you're a liberal, you're not MAGA, you don't support Trump as president, you're not American, or you're not, or you're underage, you will be very promptly and swiftly banned from the live. Very, very, very quickly. But let's try to get that very first guest of the day up here. We got Landon loading in. Landon, what's up? How old are you? Hey, what's up, Landon? How old are you?
Oh, my fault. I didn't even hop in the queue.
Well, no worries, Landon. I got to kick you once again for not following the rules. You're underage, and it also sounds like you're in a moving car, but I honestly doubt that you were driving that car because you sounded about 14. You have a good rest of your day, though, Landon. Let's go to move on to the next guest, guys. Let's get that next guest loaded up in here. Just make sure that we're following the rules, please. What's going on, Andy? Do you support Trump?
Okay, first and foremost, this is the first time ever I'm debating you, so I am so happy.
Dude, awesome, Andy. Me too. Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do.
All right, and how old are you?
I am 30. I am 38 years old.
Awesome, man. Listen, Andy, take it away. Tell us why you support Trump.
Sorry, I'm just trying to. Why is my phone going full blown cuckoo puffs today?
Well, I wish I could help you there, Andy. I get it. Sometimes my phone goes full blown cuckoo puffs too. All the notifications all at once, man.
I have people in this. I have people in the comments are saying, "Good luck, Andy. You got this." And I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Why are you wishing me good luck? Because first and foremost, let me say, yes, I do support Trump, and yes, you are going to have a lot of things absolutely right. Okay, you have debated Charlie Kirk. You have debated so many people on social media, podcasts, everything. I'm not kidding you.
Well,
And
that's very kind of you, Andy.
thank you
Um,
so much for letting me come and be part of this.
yeah, we got you up here. Thank you for being here. So, Andy, why don't you go ahead and take it away? Give us your first reason why you support Trump as president. Also, I just want to
The
put this out here
reason
as well. I appreciate everyone for watching, for being respectful. I'm seeing an overwhelming amount of incredibly respectful people. Let's make sure we keep it that way. All right, guys. But go ahead, Andy. Tell us why you support Trump.
And to tell you the truth, I'm very honored. First and foremost, I will tell you the Trump, but first and foremost, wow, your chat is very respectful. Holy cow!
I'm actually, yeah, they are being
This is the
pretty
first
nice right
time
now.
ever I've been in a. This is the I have been on so many debate stuff with Johnny, and all of Johnny's people are so mean and nasty and cruel. Like
Well,
it's like
well,
liberal USA
well,
on this one.
let's go ahead and hop on to the first point. Why do you support Trump as president?
The reason why I support Trump is because he actually kept his promises.
Which
I
ones?
know everyone protecting the border,
Okay.
put doing everything that he's saying. And I know that you're gonna say no, that's not true, but let me hear what you say.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that we need to first start off by just addressing the fact that you said he's kept every single promise he's made. Which is not true at all. He's actually walked back on almost every single promise he's made. You know, he promised to end Russia's invasion of Ukraine in, well, one day. That didn't happen. It's only gotten worse, and Russia's dropped more bombs on Ukraine, and it's still raging on almost 9 months later, right? You know, he promised to drop the prices of groceries on day one so fast your head would spin. We actually see that the price of every good sold in a grocery store has gone up in the last 8 months. He promised to release the Epstein files, but then he said if you still want him, you're not a supporter of his, and they're a Democratic hoax that we need to stop talking about. You know, he promised to build a wall between America and Mexico and stick the bill to Mexico. He's now 5 years into his overall presidency. That never happened. He built less than 50 miles. You know, he promised to pass the infrastructure bill in his first term. Never got it done. Biden got it done in his first year, right? So he's not keeping his promises at all. And even as it relates to his promises about the southern border to shut it down, well, I don't think that he's been able to reduce undocumented entry into America with any good policy. I think he's just kind of scared set entry away by violating the rights of the undocumented immigrants that are already in this country.
You know what? I agree with you on some parts, but there are some parts that I don't agree on you. And again, I'm going to be honest with you. When you debate somebody, there's always a winner and there's always a loser, and you can't win in a debate. You can try your hardest, but you can't win in a debate.
Well,
You
Andy,
can't.
here's what I'm thinking. If you want to go ahead and give your response to the things that I just said and shared, go ahead. However, after you respond to the things that I just shared, I am going to go ahead and move on to the next guest, but I want to give you your opportunity to give a response to what I just said.
Okay, first and foremost, you said that Trump is not taking Trump is not. Oh my gosh, sorry. Please forgive me.
No worries, Andy.
Basically, what you said was Trump is not doing stuff. Trump is not doing anything. Trump is not keeping his promises. But my question is, when if let me and now this is going to totally go in your wheelhouse. If Kamala Harris was president, if this whole entire thing was turned around, would Kamala Harris do a better job than Trump? Yes or no?
I do believe that she would. Absolutely. I think if Harris had won the election, not only would the low and middle class not be suffering so much because she didn't want to hurt them like Trump is, but I think our relations with other countries on the global stage would be much better. Donald Trump is so bad with those relations. 23 other countries have shut down all parcel shipments into the U.S. because of his tariffs. And literally earlier this morning at the General UN Summit in New York, where all the other world leaders are, he said all their countries are hellholes. So I do think that America would be better off if she had won the election. Now, Andy, I am going to go ahead and move on to the next guest, man. I think it's awesome that you're here, and I appreciate you for coming up and sharing some of your time with me. If you want to continue to watch this stream to see more of what my thoughts are and how that might inform or change your own worldview, I think that's awesome. And I hope you have a good rest of your day, man.
And you do too. Have a nice day.
Have a good one, Andy. Have a good one. We're gonna go ahead and move on to that next Trump supporter right now. Hop in the guest request if you are an American adult that supports Trump as president. I do just want to say, Chad, I'm proud of you guys. I'm actually really proud of you guys. The internet can be a vicious, violent, disrespectful, terrible place, and honestly, even this chat at times can be, but it wasn't. It wasn't, and I'm fucking. Oh God, I'm proud. I'm proud of you guys. Just let me put that one out there. 99% of all the chats in the last 15 minutes were very positive and kind. That's awesome. But let's go to move on to the next guest, guys. Hop in that queue if you are an American adult that supports Trump as president. We're gonna get that next guest loaded in here right now. We got Hugo loading up into the box. Here we go, y'all. All right. Doesn't look like Hugo's loading up. Let's also get that next guest up in here. We got Julia loading in. Once again, guys, just make sure that you're following the rules. We are only looking to talk to Maga. We are only looking to talk to Maga. Here we go. What is up? Are you Maga? Julia, hi. Do you support Trump?
No, but I have a question for you.
I'm sorry, Julia. I am really honing in on the rules. Okay, if you're not MAGA, I am going to kick you. Let's go to move on to the next guest, Jacob and Scarlett. Thank you so much for the $20 over on Super Chat. Looks like my mod saw that. Thank you so much for the love, Scarlett. Show some love to Scarlett down below for the $20. I do really appreciate that from you. Thank you so much. I hope that you're doing all right today, Scarlett, as well as Carolina. Thank you for the 10. Show some love to Scarlett and Carolina down below. What's up, Jacob? Are you MAGA?
Hell yeah, brother.
How old are you?
I'm 18.
What year were you born in?
2007.
What year were you born in, brother?
2007.
I'm sensing a troll. You gotta go. You have a good one, Jacob. We're gonna go and move on to the next guest. We got Douglas83 loaded up into the box. Follow them rules, y'all. Follow those rules. If you do want to support me, you can find my Venmo and my PayPal in the link tree in my bio. What's going on? Do you support Trump?
I do.
How old are you?
I'm 20.
You're 20 years old. You support Trump as president. Sounds good. What are your thoughts on him hopping on the mic yesterday in the Oval Office and just spreading blatant misinformation about the nature of vaccines, Tylenol, and his self-described causal relation to autism?
Dude, that was funny as hell. I cannot lie.
You think it's funny as hell to have the president of this country blatantly promoting anti-intellectualism that will consequently result in real harm, not just to pregnant women, but also our youth?
I didn't look into it, right? I just heard about it from friends. So I don't know much about the subject. So that's why I'm not going to speak totally on it.
Wait, so then if you agree, if you don't know much about something, you shouldn't speak on that. How could you possibly support Trump given that that's exactly what he did? He knows nothing about medicine, yet he spoke for over an hour and a half saying that Tylenol is not something pregnant women should take. Don't vaccinate your children too much at one time because it's too much liquid, and that even maybe vaccines cause autism.
I don't think he should have. Like, I'm not going to come up here and glaze him.
So then why do you still support him as president?
Because he's done leaps and bounds for my organization.
What's your organization and what leaps and bounds has he done?
So what Trump has done for my organization, which is the American First organization, he has basically made both Republicans and Democrats look foolish in his presidency.
America First?
Like, yes, America First. I know you heard of it.
So you said your organization. That's not only like weird to associate yourself with America First, alt-right, terrible fascist shit, but it's also like really parasocial. Like you just love Fuentes that much, you just call like his movement your organization.
Well, wouldn't you say the Democrats are your organization?
No. I'm going to go to kick him. Let's go to move on to the next guest. He's not like here seriously. Let's get our next Trump supporter up here. We got Ashley loading into the box right now. Everyone, just give us a minute to get that next guest loaded up here. Yeah, it was just a griper. They don't come up here seriously. What's up? Do you support Trump? Ashley, hello? Okay, Ashley's not here. Go ahead and put a Trump with your age down below in that comment section on TikTok if you'd like to come up and have a conversation with me. We're looking for anybody and everybody that is an American adult that supports Trump as president. Come up here and debate
What's
me.
going on, Mr. Withers?
What's up, man? You support Trump?
Yes, sir.
Oh, God, bro. Why?
Well, just to let you know, cause like I've been a Democrat. I've been supporting the Democrats for years, and it just seemed over time that you've seen how the Democrats worked before, and then you see a turn.
Yeah, the words, but they don't make sense, if I'm going to be honest. Try again.
Well, I'm saying, like, if you've seen President Bill Bill Clinton, you've seen how he's done president.
Hopefully Bill Clinton has nothing to do with why you support Trump. He was president in the 90s.
No, but you've seen I seen over time, because I don't think you would see how over time that the Democrats got in crooked.
I also didn't understand what he got the Democrats got crooked.
Got in crooked.
I don't know. So are you saying that you support Donald Trump as president because you think that if a Democrat was president, things would be worse?
Very much, highly on immigration and abortion.
Okay, all right. So which one do you want to start with? I don't know. Abortion, for instance. Are you saying that you support Trump as president because maybe if Kamala Harris had won the election, women and girls would be able to access abortion in all 50 states? And that's an issue for you?
Even though,
so why is that an issue for you?
Because it wouldn't be a chance, because she would not get the votes for it.
Okay, well, I mean, it kind of just sounds like you're debating your own point, because you're telling me that you support Trump as president because, he is putting abortion to the state level, and like the implication there is that if Kamala Harris was president, she'd be doing something different, which is obviously right.
And
what
I don't think
because
I'm
is
sorry.
obviously what I think, because I think that she would get abortion protected at the federal level. But then you tell me, no, Dean, she actually wouldn't be able to do that. She'd be doing the same thing that Trump is right now, which is a state of non-action in response to states having the ability to legislate on abortion. So why does this make you support Trump if you think at the end of the day, regardless of who won the presidency, they would both be taking no action on abortion?
Well, I would say, so for the abortion, I feel like abortion should be done under certain circumstances. Like if it's somebody young.
All right, I'm kicking you. Sorry, man. We're going to move on to the next guest. The reason why I kicked that guy is because I wasn't really tracking his argument, and I was trying to salvage it and help him out so I could have a position to respond to. But then I asked him a clear question, and he didn't respond to it. We kind of have a short rope for incomprehensible statements and things from guests today, just because if you were watching the debates last night, that's how it was for 2 hours straight. So we're just not doing that today, if that makes any sense. I will say the bare minimum that I'm going to require out of a guest if they do join the stream is just to give a position that hopefully I can respond to. What's up, Austin? How old are you?
Pussy, you was a bitch.
Very nice, Austin. Very emotional, man.
Good girl. Good girl.
How many continents are there?
Two.
Yeah, there you go, Austin. We're going to move on to the next guest. Let's get that next guest loaded up into the live. We got Summer Thornton connecting to the stream. We got Summer loading up into the stream. What's up, Summer? Do you support Trump? Are you MAGA?
I do support Trump.
Summer, how old are you?
I am 22.
Oh, God. Okay. All right. One moment. Joy, thank you so much for the $20 over on Venmo. Let's get 200 Joy W's. Joy with the $20 says, my take is RFK Jr. has a degree in law, and taking medical advice from him is like taking legal advice from your OBGYN. I also wouldn't listen to a man who tells women to tough it up. See, in most circumstances, I'd agree with you there, Joyce. But the only difference is I don't even think that RFK Jr. is too good in law. So this would be like taking legal advice from the worst OBGYN on earth. But anyway, Summer, take it away. Why the hell do you support Trump as president?
I support Trump because I support his decisions, and the Democrat Party supports, the the gays. They support abortion.
Did you just say the gays?
Yes, gay.
Okay,
Gay.
we're gonna call like we if you want, you could call gay people, but the gays is definitely a phrase that you have no right to say as a straight homophobic bigot. Go ahead and unmute those, Summer. Let's talk about it. So we're gonna use the word lesbian here. Okay, because I think the word gay is flagged by TikTok, and you're gonna get a ban for hate speech. But God, I want to clock you. So, do you think being lesbian and keep in mind, we're gonna use this word in reference to both women and women and men and men. So it's gonna be a word to refer to all people that aren't straight. Okay. Do you think that being lesbian is wrong?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Why?
Because I'm a firm, Christian believer, and if you actually sit down, read the Bible, and go to church, then you will know that being lesbian is not following in God's way. So it's honestly about more of God for me, and a lot of there are more Republicans that support God than liberals. It's not really a liberal thing. Not saying just because you're a liberal, liberals don't support God. Some of them do, but some people live differently, and that's their choice.
Okay. I'm going to cut you off there because you told us everything that we need to know about you and what your position is. You're saying it bad because God said so, and you told me that I would know this if I read the Bible. I completely disagree with you. I fundamentally disagree with you. In fact,
Have you read the Bible?
I've read it more than you. I think that there are incredibly strong arguments, incredibly convincing positions that if Christianity were to be, can you go ahead and stop talking just so I could finish what I'm saying? So I think that probably the most convincingly, and Summer, you have no decorum. Calm down for 20 seconds. One of the most convincing.
I am calm.
Do I need to mute you?
No, I want you to go ahead and talk because I actually want to hear what you have to say because this is actually just unbelievable to me.
If you want to hear what I have to say, then stop interrupting me. Fair?
You won't answer my question.
Well, because I was in the middle of a sentence. I'm not going to be to the beckoning call of your will and your questions, even when your questions come in the middle of my statement. I'm not. You don't even know if I'm switching the subject because you haven't let me finish my statement. Come on, dude. This is kindergarten etiquette.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. You're not even a man.
And now you're on mute, right? Because I want to finish what I said. All that I'm asking is to be able to finish my statement.
You're not a man.
Okay, well then all that you're telling me is that adult males with XY chromosomes and penises aren't men. That's probably a little bit out of line for you and your fundamentalist Christian beliefs that you're espousing. Funny. Now, I'm going to go back to my statement, Summer. All that I was trying to say there that you literally would not let me finish is that I think there's actually incredibly convincingly strong arguments that if Christianity were to be true, then being lesbian is not wrong. But we'll get on to those because you told us that if we read the Bible, we see something different. Can you please tell me what verse in the Bible very clearly states that being lesbian is wrong? I'm going to invite you to unmute. Keep in mind the question is, can you state a verse in the Bible that very clearly states being lesbian is wrong?
I want you to answer my question. I asked you a question first, and you did not answer my question.
Sure. What was your question?
I asked you if you read the Bible, and you continued to interrupt me.
Yeah.
And you don't know a verse out of the Bible, do you?
I do.
Okay, go ahead. You first, since I asked the question first.
Leviticus 25 verses 44 through 46, NIV translation. Your male and female slaves may come from the countries around you. From them you may bequeath slaves as your property. You may also inherit your slaves as property to your children, as property for life. There's a little bit of a recap. So, could you tell us what verse in the Bible says?
Okay, could you break that down? Could you break that down for me?
No, because this is a deflection off of your argument that in accordance with the Christian Bible, being lesbian is wrong. Summer, you left the app. I can't hear you unless you're on the app. I want you to break down your position. Tell us where in the Bible we see that being lesbian is wrong. Summer's failing. She left the app again. Summer, what are you doing? You're embarrassing yourself. Welcome back. I could find.
I'm not embarrassing myself. I'm not arguing it's stupidity. You must be gay. Are you gay?
Wait, are you saying because I'm smarter than you that therefore I'm gay?
No, I mean that's what liberals do.
Oh, I thought that I thought you didn't. I thought
did
that
a
you
liberal
didn't. Wait,
did a
all right, I
liberal
thought
not
that.
shoot?
I
Y'all
thought
tried to
I
kill
thought that you
Trump.
said
Y'all
I
tried
thought that you
liberals
said that was wrong. I thought so your argument. Oh, it's so wrong to be
liberals
GAY. But then you're like,
liberals
oh,
have
Dean, you're
tried to.
smarter than me. You're like besting me in this
Okay,
debate.
yeah,
You know
but
more than me. You must be gay.
What Republican has tried to shoot at a liberal president? Y'all have tried killing Trump twice. Y'all shot Charlie Kirk because what?
Yeah.
That gay guy,
Summer, you're very
gay. He was gay.
Hey,
Y'all
Summer.
want to ban
Hey,
guns,
Summer.
but y'all are the first one to use them.
Hey, Summer.
Hey, Dean.
Hey. So you're gonna say that the individual that shot Kirk was gay? I don't even know where that's coming from.
He was.
Or, Summer, do you like how many continents are there?
13.
Summer, there's 7 continents.
Okay, well, I don't know how many continents they are, but that doesn't fucking matter when it comes to life or death.
I have a question. Can you leave the app and then come back into the app? It's showing that you're on pause.
I'm in the app.
I know. You just have to. You leave the app and come back into the app to fix the glitch.
What do you mean?
Summer, it can't get any more simple than that. Swipe out of the TikTok app, then go back into the TikTok app.
There's no glitch.
There is on my end. I'm just trying to get you to fix it.
Okay. Back in. Okay, I did that.
Thank you so much for fixing the glitch. Okay, right? So I'm going to give you a very quick response. Don't interrupt me or I will mute you. Are you capable of 4th grade etiquette?
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. So you said that the individual that shot Kirk was gay. I don't know where you're getting that one from. We're just going to be assuming that it's true for the intents and purposes of our discussion, because I think that you're a raging hypocrite for sitting here and saying, because you can name a gay individual that did something that is violent, that therefore all gay individuals are inherently wrong because they shared that common attribute with one gay individual who did do something that's violent. But then the moment it comes to the 92% of violent crimes that are committed by men in this country, or the disproportionate amount of shooters that are alt-right straight men, such as the 18-year-old that shut up Evergreen High School the same day that Charlie Kirk was assassinated, you will never make it about the color of their skin. You will never make it about what's in between their legs. And you will never make it about who they're attracted to. This is only rhetoric that you and other really unintelligent people on the right deploy when it is advantageous to you to continue to uphold more oppression and marginalization of communities in this country that you hold disdain towards with no goddamn reason at all. And that last part, the no goddamn reason at all, is evidently true. You could prove me wrong by telling me where in the Bible apparently it says it's wrong to be lesbian, but you haven't been able to do that yet, and I honestly don't think you will be able to.
Okay, can I speak now?
You can answer the question. Where in the Bible does it say it's wrong to be lesbian?
All right, well, I'll be honest with you. I'm not exactly sure where it doesn't exactly say you can't be gay, but if you actually fully read through the Bible, you'll understand the ways of life. But you know what? I'm actually going to scratch the gay topic because I do want to discuss another topic with you.
Because you have no argument. Because you have no argument. You said, oh, when you just read the Bible. Actually, I think when you read the Bible, you learn the exact opposite. I'll demonstrate that to you right now. Did God design you in your mother's womb?
No.
God didn't design you? Isn't that what the Bible says?
If you're talking about science.
No, the Bible. The Bible says that God designed you when you were in your mother's womb, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. So God designed gay people too when they were in their mother's womb. And guess what? We know that being gay is driven by hard-coded biological facts, such as the fact that gay men have a larger anterior commissure on average compared to straight men, which is the nerve lining between the hemispheres of their brains. They also have varying traits of the AINH3 subsection of the hypothalamus, or varying levels of particular neurohormones like FSH, and even different associations along the genetic code, such as those that we find in the XQ23 chromosome, meaning that God designed gay people to be gay. And in accordance with your religion, you think God is all-knowing, you think God is all-powerful, you think God is all good and perfect. So how can an all-powerful, all-knowing, perfect, good God, right, fuck up with the design of gay individuals on earth? The answer to that question is in accordance with your theology, he can't. He designed them perfectly too. In fact, that makes you the heretic for then looking at individuals that are gay, not because of a conscious decision, but rather driven by those biological facts of their anatomy, neuroanatomy, so on and so forth, and saying that it's wrong, saying that it's incorrect, or positing that it's an abomination. You are inherently, in virtue of that statement, refuting the all-good, all-powerful, all-knowing, and perfect qualities of your creator.
Okay, well, so me personally, I don't care because, like I said, I live my own life. I don't care. But the things I don't agree with is what I was getting at, is in sharing the bathrooms. I don't feel comfortable with men coming into the women's bathroom, even if they feel like they are a girl.
Okay, we
Men are
can't
bigger,
talk about
they're-
trans individuals on TikTok Live. You're saying that about trans individuals. I vehemently disagree with you. But what if it were a cis man like me or Biden, for instance? Like think of any man in your life, like any cis man in your life. What if a cis man were not to just walk into a woman's restroom or a woman's changing room, but to do so out of perversion to sexually exploit maybe naked teens or women in that space? Do you think that man is evil?
Yes, I do.
Would you ever support a man that has done those things under any circumstances?
No.
Even if they were a Republican?
Yes.
Even if they were running for president?
Yes.
Even if they were president?
Yes.
Even if they were Trump?
Yes, and I know what
some
you're
of these
about to
foreign
say.
girls, Mr. Trump, in my country, we say hello with vagina. And
Well, you could also say, as the owner of the pageant, it's your obligation to do that.
So you have done that. Now, tell me
I'll
what
tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before a show.
Yes.
And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else. And, no men are anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. I'm inspecting. I want to make sure that
You're like a
everything is
doctor.
good.
You're there.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible-looking women. And so I sort of get away with things like that.
You're at a fork in the road, Summer. You just told me that you would never, ever support such an evil man that has done those things in a billion years, even if they were Trump as president. The fork in the road that you find yourself at is either now redacting your support from Trump, saying you're no longer MAGA, and saying he should not be president at all, and there's no possible way you could support him because he's done something which you deemed as a red line for supporting him as president. Or what I think will be the more likely outcome is you will just once again prove to everyone watching that you're a raging hypocrite that stands by no values with no spine nor backbone, and you will find some rhetorically terrible way to continue to defend and support Trump as president, even though you just said you would never support Trump as president again if he had boasted about perving on the naked bodies of teens and grown women in their dressing rooms. And then I played you a clip of him doing exactly that. So what is it going to be? Are you going to redact your support from Trump, or are you going to prove to us all that you're a raging, spineless hypocrite?
I don't believe what you just played.
Okay, so that's going to be the raging, spineless hypocrite part. You're detached from reality. You don't even believe a clip of Donald Trump admitting to these bad things. That is how far
There's a lot. Even if someone posted that of Biden, I'm gonna be honest with you. I only believe what I see like on live news TV. I'm not gonna believe anything, even if it's from the liberal side. There's so much that's made up nowadays because people are so crooked.
You believe
that
it
is a
if it was
battling.
live?
Yes.
Yeah, this was live. It aired live on Howard Stern's radio show on April 21st of 2005.
Well, you know what? Then I will go check that out, and I'll check it out. After we get off here and look into that, and then I might think twicely about everything.
What do you need to confirm? Are you saying that it might be AI? So what if I could prove to you right now it's not AI?
I don't know. That would be a hard thought that I would have to think about, because this is not the only reason why I like Trump. There's
Wait,
different.
Let's just stick on this one topic. The only reason why you wouldn't believe it is if it were AI, right? Could you give any other reasons why you wouldn't believe it?
I think I'm gonna have to. I would have to look into it myself.
I
And
mean, think about it right now. What are the reasons why you don't believe that audio clip? What are they?
because I don't know what you have pulled up. Like that's your screen. This is what you have pulled up. I would need to see this for myself.
But you very clearly heard Donald Trump speaking. That was
Actually,
Donald
yeah,
Trump's voice,
actually,
right?
yes. Actually, I'm gonna pull it up to if you might be right, but we're gonna figure out since you're right.
Well, can you admit
Then
the only way that would be fake is if it was AI, because that was very clearly Trump. So the only way it
what?
could be fake is if they faked Trump's voice using AI.
Yes, correct.
Okay, so here's actually a screenshot of the title of the video on YouTube that I'm pulling that from. Obviously, I'm not pulling it from Howard Stern's radio show. I'm pulling it from an upload by CNN. But look at that upload was made 8 years ago. 8 years ago, language models and AI were not significantly advanced to the point of the imitation of one's voice. In fact, that is only a recent development of AI in the last year or two. 8 years ago, it just simply didn't exist. So I've now proven to you that it's not AI.
Okay, when did this happen? You said 2018?
This happened in 2005. I source it from a clip of what happened in 2005, uploaded to YouTube 8 years ago.
Okay. Well, let me look into this, and I'll have to figure out my own resources.
I think that this is just a weak response. I'll help you look into
No,
it
I
right
don't.
now live.
I didn't see Trump talking and saying any of that.
But you heard
okay,
him.
okay. Let's say that he did.
Because you heard him. You didn't see him. You heard him.
Conflict?
Yes.
I don't see it as a conflict.
It could be a conflict of interest, but it's the kind of thing you worry about later.
Oh, I see.
You tend to think about the conflict a little bit later on.
That's Trump, right?
Okay, and what about underage, or what are you trying to get at? What is he admitting to?
He's admitting to walking backstage at Miss USA and Miss Teen USA into a women's only space where women were getting dressed. And when he would walk back there, they were undressed and naked, and he would look at them and then talk about how good they looked. He did this to women and girls, as I already said, at Miss USA and Miss Teen USA. And we have had both those women and girls come out and testify to the fact that what he described in that clip is what happened to them. We even had a 17-year-old beauty pageant contestant at Miss Teen USA come out years before this clip was uploaded on CNN's channel and say that he would do this to them alongside other girls as young as 15. And then a totally separate woman who was a girl in the 90s that competed at Miss Teen USA, her name is Victoria, she comes up onto this stream every once in a blue moon to talk about what happened to her, once again relaying the same consistent story of exactly what Donald Trump described in the audio clip that we just listened to.
Okay.
And then also earlier you said that you only believe things that you see on TV live.
Yeah, a lot of things. That's where I usually get a lot of my information, is just, turning the TV on and watching the news.
Did you live react to Jesus's resurrection?
No, and you think Jesus? I feel like you think Jesus is a joke, but
No,
either way,
I take Christianity seriously. I just don't take your version of Christianity seriously.
I do still support Trump even after hearing that. I will say I do, and I do because, like I said, there's other reasons I do support him, especially with the border. I'm very, supportive when it comes to the border. I don't think, all these illegal immigrants should be coming into our country, and all of our taxes are paying for everything. Everything has gotten so expensive. The market is insane. The market is outrageous. And all of this happened when Biden was in office. So unless there's, unless you can prove to me, that, I don't know that
I'll go ahead and give
this
that a
was
response.
okay.
Before I do, I'm going to thank a handful of people for their love over on Venmo and PayPal. Madeline, thank you for the $10 over on Venmo. Says, hope you're feeling better today, Dean. Thank you for all that you do. I do actually feel better today. Thank you for the love. Let's show some love to Madeline down below. As well as Maura, thank you for the $5. As well as Rachel, thank you so much for the $20 over on Venmo. Let's get to it at Rachel W's. Rachel says, keep fighting the good fight. Thank you so much for your donation. That is so very kind of you. As well as Christy and Kennedy, I appreciate you both for the $5. Joyce for the $5, thank you. And Melissa, thank you so much for the $50 donation over on Venmo. Melissa, that is insane. Thank you so much for the love. I want everyone watching to spam W Melissa in the chat. Thank you so much for the $50. That is insanely outrageous. As well as Olivia with the $10 on PayPal saying thank you, Dean. Thank you, Olivia. And Grace with the $15 on PayPal saying get pushed. Thank you so much for the love, Grace. And then Naughty with the $10 over on Super Chat. Thank you guys so much for the love. If you want to support me, you can find my Venmo and my PayPal in the link tree in my bio on my TikTok account. You get a notification on my phone. I can thank you and read off any and all attached messages, as well as you can find that in the pinned message of the YouTube stream. Now, to get back to what I was going to say to you, first and foremost, you told me that you still support Trump, even if you assume that he did what he said he did in that clip. Already off to a bad start, because you told me before you knew he actually did it that you wouldn't support Trump if he had done that. So you're now shifting and changing your mind, just like you shifted the position of your index finger to the exit live button because you were losing a debate. She left. And now we are going to go ahead and move on to the next guest. Goodbye, Summer. If you would like to hop back in the guest request to continue our conversation, I will happily have you back up so we could finish said line of dialogue. I unfortunately do not think that will be happening. Let's go to move on to the next guest to make sure we are in that queue that we are American adults that support Trump as president. What is up, Tanner? Are you MAGA?
Yes, I am.
How old are you?
I'm 17.
All right. You have to be at least 18 to be on TikTok Live. Got to kick you, Tanner. Have a good rest of your day, though, man. Once again, the rules are as follows. Make sure that you are an American adult that supports Trump as president. If you find yourself inside of the guest request, we got Daddy Joe. What a name. I'm going to call you Joe. I'm not going to call you Daddy Joe. I'm going to call you Joe. Joe, are you MAGA?
All right. I am, but I don't. I want to ask you a question.
Are you here to debate about why you support Trump?
I was just gonna ask like your workout routine because I know this is all you do.
Anterior. I'm running on an anterior posterior split. So that means I do basically everything on the front side of my body one day, then everything on the back side of my body the second day. And I do that for 5 days a week, and I have 2 rest days. However, I've modulated the anterior posterior split slightly to include my biceps on the back day and my triceps and front and side delts on my front day. What's up? Do you support Trump?
Yep.
How old are you?
24.
Gary Bear, I appreciate you for the motorcycle. That's very kind of you. Take it away, Butch. Why the hell do you support who I consider to be probably the worst president of your 24 years of life, Donald J. Trump?
A big thing would be not taking away gun rights.
Funny enough, he actually, in his first administration, passed a piece of legislation that SCOTUS ruled as unconstitutional in violation of the Second Amendment. That's something the Biden-Harris administration never did. And Trump just directed his Justice Department to find a way to take away all gun rights from trans Americans. And that is such a blatant, bold-faced infringement on the Second Amendment that even the far-right NRA has now publicly spoken out against the Trump administration and his Justice Department, saying that that is a big, bold violation of gun rights in this country. Butch left. Goodbye. Have a good rest of your day. I am sad and disheartened by the fact that you didn't feel as if you wanted to give that a response, but I guess that's what it is. Have a good one. We're going to move on to the next guest, Keith. We got him loading in right now. Go ahead and hop in that queue if you find yourself to be an American adult that supports Trump. What is up, Keith Hardy? Do you support Trump as president?
No, sir. Just wanted to give you your flowers, man.
You wanted to give me my... So why do you support Trump?
I do not support Trump. I'm a supporter of you, brother.
Oh, I appreciate that, Keith. Hell yeah, brother. Hope you have a good rest of your day, Keith. Fuck yeah. I thought he said that he was a Trump supporter, so I was confused by the I want to give you your flowers comment. But hell yeah, dude. Awesome. Dude, I love meeting like older dudes like Keith, you know, that kind of have that deep raspy voice that sound like, you know, they're probably like from the South and whatnot that aren't MAGA. No, I love it so much. What's going on, No Name? Do you support Trump as president?
Yo, man, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. Are you driving?
Maybe.
Unfortunately, can't have you driving, man. Butch, welcome back. Oh, actually, he left again. I invited Bush to rejoin, just randomly, hoping that he might accept the invitation. But he did, but then he automatically turned around and left again. If you happen to be one of the 29,000 people hanging out with us in here on TikTok, y'all make sure that we're double tapping on that phone screen, sharing out this live, doing all that good business. Y'all already know it. That's how we're going to get more Trump supporters in here for the day to have some debates. What's up? Do you support Trump, 9K?
Yes, I do.
How old are you, man?
18.
18. What year were you born in?
I was born in 2006.
All right. Ooh, what month?
May 29.
I think if you were born in May of 2006, would you be 18? I'm always fucking it up. I think that you'd be 19, right? Or would it be 18?
18. 18, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think so. You'd be 19. I just did the math in my head. Moving on to the next guest. We're going to go to get Asher up here. Everyone, just give us a minute. Hop in that queue if you support Trump as president. Just make sure that you are of age. Yeah, he'd be 18 if his birthday hadn't passed yet. Let's go to get that next guest loaded up in here, y'all. We got Asher loading up in right now. Go ahead and drop a Trump with your age down below in that comment section if you're a Maga and you'd like to come up here and debate me. And once again, if you want to support me, you can find my Venmo, my PayPal, and the link tree in my bio. Like right now, Lola, thank you so much for the $40 donation over on PayPal. Lola, it is so good to see you. It's been a while. Hope that you're well. Lola with a $40 says, hope you're having a great day. You know what, Lola? Fuck, I am. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the $40 donation. Let's get 400 Lola W's in that chat while we're hopping into this next debate. Seriously, Lola, thank you so much. Jace, what is up? Are you Maga?
Yeah.
How old are you?
12.
I feel like they probably weren't actually 12 and trolling. Give me a good laugh, but get the hell out of here. Moving on. What's up? Do you support Trump, Lindsay?
Hi.
Hi. Are you MAGA?
Yes.
Oh, no. How old are you?
21.
Okay. I think I'm actually going to go ahead and run this conversation a little bit differently than most. I want you to name maybe 2 or 3 values that you hold that dictates your voting in American politics. What are they? 2 or 3 values that you hold that makes you consider yourself a Trump supporter.
Sorry, I'm outside and my dog's outside.
Sorry, I'm actually making a bug that's terrible. Go ahead.
I guess my values on the healthcare system and
Okay, ma'am, I'm gonna be honest. That dog is too loud. Is there any
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You could go inside. You could put the dog inside, or is it just?
I can go inside.
Okay. Also, usually dogs bark for a reason, unless it's somebody, neighboring house has a puppy. Just make sure your dog's okay. But I don't know.
There are dogs barking.
Yeah. Okay.
He's just upset.
Okay. Oh, well, we'll try again. So, why do you support Trump as president?
Mainly because of the fentanyl trafficking.
Dude, what an L. I'm so sorry. So one of TikTok's terms of service, one of their rules is that you cannot say the name of any DRUG on TikTok Live. You caught such a stray there. Usually I know if a conversation is going to lead a guest to say the name of a DRUG so I could give them a heads up. Maybe we start talking about the border. Maybe we start talking about Kamala Harris. Those are all things where sometimes Trump supporters will bring up DRUGS. However, that was just a completely random stray. So I do apologize. I have to remove you. That's just TikTok terms of service. I hate it. What's up, Ryan? Are you MAGA?
Yes.
How old are you?
I'm 18.
What year were you born in?
2007, July 15th.
And why the hell do you support Trump as president, Ryan?
Okay, Trump has done a lot, and I'm not going to get into that right now. When Biden was president, my dad was a nurse, and his pay went down, his shift diff went down, and it sucked. Entirely it sucked. Prices were high.
Oh, okay, so you care about, medical health professionals getting adequate pay and resources. Guess what? Because Donald Trump decided to cut Medicaid by $900 billion in funding in the next 10 years and cut the VA by billions as well. Not only did the VA lay off 54,000 people, but now a couple hundred hospitals in rural areas in this country have either already closed or are at risk of closure due to his cuts in the big, beautiful bill. Additionally, you wouldn't be able to identify anything that Biden did to hurt your father as a nurse or to really hurt healthcare in general. In fact, the only thing he did was help it by passing bills such as the PACT Act that invested nearly $1 billion into veterans' healthcare.
Well, the main thing I want to talk to you about is your opinion on the autism and Tylenol thing. Trump did not declare that Tylenol was a main cause. It was just a hypothesis. And he does suggest that everybody should go and not take it, but it was never a forced thing. He never said that you should not take it.
Yeah, you didn't watch his press conference then. He said, "Don't take Tylenol."
No, I watched every bit of it.
No, you didn't. You were probably watching it, half scrolling on your phone because you're wrong.
No, there are actually several studies that suggest an associated between prolonged Tylenol use.
One second, now you're moving on. We need to agree that Donald Trump blatantly said, "Don't take Tylenol."
He did not say that.
There's a very strong recommendation, maybe stronger from me than from the group because they're waiting for certain studies. I just want to say, I want to say it like it is. Don't take Tylenol. Don't take Tylenol. There's no downside. Don't take it.
But see, he suggested it in the beginning. He said he suggested
it. It won't be as easy, maybe, but don't take it.
He literally said that the other people were maybe making a suggestion, but waiting for that science. And then he said, and I quote, "I'm just going to come out and say it. Don't take Tylenol." He literally just directly refuted what your argument was. Your argument was they were just maybe suggesting a hypothesis and waiting on the science. He said, well, these other people might be waiting on the science. I'm not. Don't take Tylenol.
Well, he did say that, but he was not forcing it upon people.
So, what do you mean? What do you mean not forcing it upon people? Are you saying that in order for you to care, he'd have to sign in a bill to literally criminalize taking Tylenol? Come on, bro. This is crazy. The president of the goddamn United States of America spent 2 hours espousing blatant medical misinformation that will not only have negative consequences on pregnant women because they're going to hear him say, "Don't take Tylenol," which is the only recommended over-the-counter painkiller, and then instead turn around and take Advil or aspirin, which will increase their chance of prolonged labor, increase their chance of more bleeding or potential death during childbirth, and increase their child's chance at physical deformities or even miscarriage, because he is now saying, and I quote, "Do not take the only safe recommended over-the-counter painkiller while you're pregnant." And oh my God, don't even get me started. Don't even get me started on him saying, "Don't give your children the vaccines, too much liquid." I mean, how
I just
can
think
you
you're
take him
full of
seriously?
shit, just like the rest of the Dems. You're just as full of shit as the rest of the Dems.
Yes, holding to science, being based, and remaining truthful is being full of shit. But then when Donald Trump says that hepatitis B is only transmitted sexually and you shouldn't give it to your baby because it's too much liquid, I guess he's the best thing since Abraham Lincoln and sliced bread. You can't make it up, man. You said your dad was a nurse. Just go ask him. He'll tell you that majority of hepatitis B cases are actually not sexually transmitted, but rather passed to one's offspring through genetics. And by the way, he just left. Good day, sir. Good day. Okay, all right. We're going to move on to the next guest. Do I need to, calm down? What do I need to calm down here? I feel like we're scaring all the guests off. That was the fourth guy in a row that left very quickly. We're going to move on to the next guest, guys. Make sure if you find yourself in the queue that you are an American adult that supports Trump as president. We will bring you up and we're going to have a conversation. Yeah, that was the fourth guy in a row, dude. We're on a roll today, folks. Hey, Aiden, A-D-I-N, thank you for the $10 over on Super Chat. Says, Shane, Kane Sugar Dean. Dude, I remember that guy. I wonder where the hell he went. What's up? Do you support Trump?
Hello.
Hey, do you support Trump?
Hi there. I do. I'm 37 and I am Maga. How are you?
I'm doing great. Before we hop into our conversation of the day, there's about 4 people I'd like to thank First, Viet, that is VIET. Thank you for the $5 over on PayPal saying keep up the good stuff. Thank you. Then Elena with a $6 saying love watching you debate. I'm so happy you're here. Thank you, Elena, for the $6. And then Mr. Christopher, thank you for the $20 over on PayPal saying recently found your content. Awesome job. And as a 45-year-old, you give me so much hope for the future. Christopher, I'm so happy that you're here with us, as I said to Elena and the other donors as well. Thank you so much for the love. And I'm really happy that what we do here gives you some hope. As well as Sierra, thank you so much for the $10 over on PayPal. I appreciate you. And then Nicole for the $15 over on Venmo a minute ago saying, for Momo, you rock. Thanks, Nicole. Thank you so much for the $15 in the kind message. Show some love to Nicole. And then Kylie with the $15 as well. Thank you so much for the love. Saying that you teach me so much. I'm happy that you could take away something positive and educational from the stream. Thank you, Kylie. And then Nora with the $10 saying, thank you for all that you do. Thank you, Nora. And then, holy fuck, Laura and Dash. Show some love to Laura and Dash down below in the comment section because they both donated $100 fucking dollars on Venmo. I do not deserve that at all. Both of you guys are so kind and generous. Holy shit. Laura with a $100 donation says keep it up, and Dash with a $100 donation says thank you for your support to the LGBTQ plus communities. Dash and Laura, holy fuck, you guys. That is too much money. I do not deserve that. I really appreciate y'all so much for the love. Please show some love to both Laura and Dash down below in the comment section. Seriously, seriously, seriously. And then, in fact, we also have another big one here. You guys are going crazy today. Grayson, thank you for the $75 donation on Venmo. What is going on? Show some love to Laura, Dash, and Grayson down below in that comment section. Grayson says, thank you for speaking the truth, my guy, and keep it up and continue to preach the truth. Thank you so much, bro. That is outrageous. Thank you, Grayson. As well as Daniel, thank you so much for the $30 on Venmo, saying, dude, MAGA supporters won't accept evidence. They never do. Thank you for the love. And then Joshua, thank you for the $25. You guys are being so fucking kind today. Seriously, please show some love to our donors. Absolutely outrageous. Thank you guys so much. And take it away. Tell us why you support Trump. So much love.
Okay.
Thank you guys so much.
First, I want to say, first of all, I'm really nervous, so be easy on me because I totally have stage fright, but I love watching you and I love the way you make people actually think. And I'm kind of disappointed sometimes hearing some of the members of my own party and how stupid they are. But, okay, I do love watching you. Why do I support Trump? Well, I'd say that I'm 37 years old, and through my years, I kind of figured out that most presidents are full of BS. I don't really think that there's really any president in history that you could say like they really stuck to their word of everything they've said on their campaign or whatever it is. People who are seeking power generally tend to kind of, play into and feed into their audience. So I can't really say, there's a lot of things that I find morally corrupt with Trump, but I can't really say that there was a good Democratic candidate that I could get behind.
Okay.
And I just want to say I would. There's a lot that I agree on.
I find you to be guilty of a big issue.
Go ahead.
The big issue I find you to be guilty of is assuming, because we can't point towards any politician that is perfect, therefore, the most imperfect politician that we've ever had is somehow permissible and falls right in line with all the other ones. If I am a business owner and I need to hire, one moment, if I'm a business owner and I need to hire a new employee and I'm interviewing individuals for the position, okay, I'm not expecting to find the perfect individual for the position. I'm not expecting to find Jesus 2.0. But while I'm going through the interview process and talking to everybody that is interested in the position, I'm still going to be mindful and critically think my way to find who the best out of all the options are, even if none of them are perfect, right? So although, for instance, Kamala Harris wasn't perfect, she still wasn't a 34-count felon adjudicated rapist that thinks the media should be controlled by the state and media organizations don't have the legal right to critique her. Although she's not perfect, she's not the one that passed the most expensive bill in American history, that did a great redistribution of wealth from the poor to the rich, and took health care away from 10 million low-income families. And those are the very clear and distinct differences that makes me hold special animosity towards Donald Trump that I truly haven't held towards a Democrat in a long time.
So I think that this is where you and I would disagree, and I think it's perfectly normal for us to disagree. I know you're passionate and you want the best for the American people, and you probably want the best for my family as I want the best for your family. I think where we disagree is that I don't think that Trump was the worst option. I think Kamala Harris would have been a worse option, and I'll tell you why. All of those things that you say about him being, a felon and all of these things, I really want to focus on the difference between his personal life and the policies that he is recommending for America and for the American people.
Okay.
One thing,
and I'll show you how they relate to one another.
and I think that we can make a parallel, just about with every candidate and everything that they've ever done wrong in their life. However, I'm going to give you just like a little example. One thing that I think is extremely important. And it doesn't matter if you're a Democrat, and it doesn't matter if you're a Republican or a liberal, or if you're a Christian or a Jew. I'm Jewish, by the way, and I do support the state of Israel. And we can talk about that as well. I think that it's really important to love and be proud of your country, to really have patriotism. And that doesn't mean that you have to be a racist, and it doesn't mean that you have to be white, and it doesn't mean that you have to be a Trump supporter. It just means that you are living in this country and you should be proud of the country you're living for. And you should be asking yourself, what is your country doing for you? What can you do for your country? That doesn't mean that you can't criticize your country. That doesn't mean that you can't find faults. No country is perfect. But I think that over the years, we kind of lost a little bit of that patriotism. And people have become kind of embarrassed to say they're American. And I really think that it is important for young people, especially, if you look at all of these other countries who are against us in the world, China, Russia, Iran, Turkey, the main thing that they have is they have patriotism. They are really willing to die for their country, even though their country is not doing anything for them. But they have patriotism, and that's really important. And I think that regardless if you're...
At any point?
Yeah, absolutely.
Any true American patriot doesn't support Trump. You cannot tell me that you are proud to be an American, that you support the United States of America, and that you fall in line with core American values and support Trump as president, since he stands out of line with said core American values, and he puts a great stain not only on this country, but what it should represent. I'll give you an example.
Well,
Can you agree that any American patriot, right, would support core American values, including the American Constitution?
Well, I would say that you can't really, with one, stroke of a brush, when, 75 million people in the popular vote go for this president, that obviously people feel that he does align with American values.
And I'm here to tell you that you're wrong, and I'm going to prove it to you through debate.
And I would say, too, that being an American and having American values does not come down to an administration or 4 years. I've lived through multiple administrations. I've lived through Democratic administrations.
Can you answer the question that I asked you?
Core American values being what exactly are you
patriots support the American Constitution? The document that so many of our servicemen and women have either been willing to lose their lives to protect or have lost their lives to protect. Do American patriots support the Constitution?
I think when I am speaking of pride, I'm speaking just of pride of being an American, the pride of living in a country where there are free elections and we get to elect our leaders.
But we have the quote-unquote free elections because of the Constitution. So you have pride in the Constitution and the rights in which it protects, right? Correct? Okay, great. Matthew, thank you for the galaxy. See, the thing is I'm trying to make a point here, right? But me making my point requires you to either affirm or deny a handful of preliminary questions. So what I'd like you to do when I'm asking you like these questions, when I'm trying to construct an argument, is to just keep your responses like short and direct. And I don't really feel like I'm getting that from you right now, right? Because the question that I'm asking you that hopefully I want to hear your feedback on is, do American patriots that take pride in America take pride in the Constitution and the rights in which it is enshrined as protecting? And that is what makes you take pride in America. An example of this would be, you told me that you take pride in free elections, but free elections are only supposedly protected by the Constitution. So do American patriots support the Constitution and the rights in which it protects for Americans?
Definitely. I agree with you 100%. I agree with you to the core.
Now can I make my
But
point?
that's not the only thing, though.
Now can
That's
I make
just
my
one
point that
of
you've
it.
agreed?
Absolutely.
Okay. Now here's the point. Donald Trump doesn't support the Constitution. If you are a patriot that takes pride in the values and rights that the Constitution gives to you, then you would never support Donald Trump in a billion years, because he is an anti-constitutional, wannabe all-powerful leader that does not play by the rules, but rather wants to make them, and has been incessantly infringing upon, disregarding, and disrespecting the Constitution forever. I'm going to go in and give you a timeline of events to prove that I am definitively right and that you are wrong. Okay, the first event in my timeline will be January 6, 2021, when Donald Trump launched his fake electorates plot, where he sent fake slates of electorates to 7 key swing states that Biden won with fake votes to send back to Congress to steal the election. My evidence is not liberal misinformation or propaganda on CNN. My evidence is literally his legal defense when he was indicted in Congress for trying to rig the election. Keep it in mind, his legal defense was literally, yeah, I did this, but guess what? It was an official act of my presidency. Therefore, I should be immune from criminal repercussions. Second event in the timeline, December of 2022, Donald Trump called for a termination of all rules, regulations, and articles, even those found in the Constitution, because he said the election in 2020 was stolen and it would permit overturning the Constitution. Next event, January 21st this year, Donald Trump signed into law Executive Order number 14160 that explicitly contradicted and infringed upon one of the most important amendments in the Constitution, that amendment being the 14th, when he attempted to take birthright citizenship away from the children of undocumented immigrants born on this soil, even though that right is explicitly protected for them by the clear text of the first section of the 14th and adjudications from the American Supreme Court from 1897 until 1987. Amanda, I appreciate you so much for the lion. Third event, when he then a month later said that he wanted to run for a third term and that there's many ways he could get it done if he wanted to. The 22nd Amendment says that no president can serve for more than 2 terms, meaning that was him calling for a termination of the 22nd. Fifth event, he passed an executive order a month ago attempting to ban the burning of the American flag, but the Supreme Court ruled in the 80s that is expressly protected under First Amendment rights to freedom of speech and symbolic speech, meaning that he attempted to infringe upon the First Amendment. Sixth event, when he directed his Justice Department to find a way to ban gun ownership for trans Americans. That was so blatantly anti-2A that even the far-right NRA come out and publicly spoke against the Trump administration for pursuing that goal. Seventh event, I just have so many. Last week, he said on air from the Oval Office that it is literally illegal for the media to criticize him, marking one of the largest turns of the 21st century, where we finally have a president remodeling the scope of public discourse away from disagreeing with one another, seeking truth, criticizing thought we disagree with, upholding thought we agree with, to rather a mere reflection of what he likes or he doesn't like, mirroring countries that you named as worse than America because of their lack of rights, such as China, such as North Korea or Russia, right? And I'm not going to lie, I could continue to go on all day long and give off an 8th, a 9th, a 10th event of just how unconstitutional and pro-dictator this tyrant is, but I'd get too long-winded, so I'll stop there.
So are you saying that you disagree that pride is important?
I'm disagreeing that Donald Trump has any pride for this country. In fact, he's now demonstrated every single virtue in which you would expect out of a traitor to this country, and you are operating under a false sense of reality where you think you have pride in America, core American values, rights, liberties, and protections, but then you turn around and you support said tyrant.
I think that if I were to sit down and look at every Democratic nominee for president and compare their doings and their sayings and every time, every word that came out of their mouth against the Constitution, I would probably find a lot of things that are unconstitutional.
Do it. Do it.
what
Make a
I'm
comparison between Trump and Kamala Harris.
So-
What did she do that was
so-
unconstitutional? What did the
So I
lawyer
would
do
say
that was
it is
unconstitutional?
unconstitutional. I would say as an American, I would say it's probably unconstitutional to allow an open border where you are not able, and I'll tell you why I say that. And now let me preface that by saying that I do not think that children who are born here should be ripped away from their parents and sent back. I am the child of immigrants. I am an immigrant in this country. I do not think that all of these horrible things that were happening, should be done or they can't be done in a more sensitive manner or whatever it is. However, at the same time, I don't think that you have a country if you don't have a border. And you can't just let people in without knowing who these people are. I just don't think that that is responsible towards your own citizens. I don't think that is a way to keep them safe, and I don't think that is constitutional. Now, do I think that not letting anyone in is constitutional? No, of course I don't. But I don't think that we had a candidate that was really giving us a good solution. We had an extreme on one side where it was just, a free for all, everybody come in. And that's the truth. That's exactly what it was. And I think that's how come Trump got, 75% of the Latino vote that bordered, those states that were bordered there, because they really felt the problem at the border. Do I think that there should be serious immigration reform? Yes. Do I think that people who have lived here lawfully for years, that they should have a very swift way to be a green card holder or permanent resident? Absolutely, I do. Do I think that the people who have been sent out?
Can I hop in here? You're making you're making like 5 points. I know that.
No, but what I'm saying is that there were.
I know what you're saying. Don't worry, I'm listening. I'm listening to you. I'm listening. I've been listening this whole time. Trust me. I picked up on everything you just said. Or am I good?
I think that we were up against two extremes. I think that I think personally myself.
Let's go point by point. No more points. We're gonna address everything that you just said. Okay.
I'm here and I'm listening.
Great. Before I do, there's a couple people I'd like to thank. You guys have been so fucking kind. Holy shit. Scarlet. Thank you so much for the $200 super chat over on YouTube. Bro, dude, that is outrageous. I want to see 2,000 Scarlet W's down below in that comment section. This came in maybe 30 minutes ago at the beginning of the conversation with the current guest. But Scarlet, thank you so fucking much. That is fucking massive. Oh my God. As well as I just read your message there, thank you so much for your incredibly kind words. Seriously, Scarlet. Thank you. Show some love to Scarlet down below. I would also like to quickly thank Danielle for the $100 donation over on PayPal. Thank you, Danielle. You guys are going crazy today. Danielle with $100 says, every time Maga says, quote unquote, I don't support his character, but I grow 15 gray hairs. Glad you feel better. Danielle, you watch my stream so frequently. You're always in here. Is your whole head gray? Because they say that every day and it's ridiculous. But thank you for the $100. I hope that you're doing well. Good to see ya. Let's get 2,000 Scarlet W's, 1,000 Danielle W's, as well as Lindsay. Thank you for the $10 over on PayPal. Marlene with the $10 on PayPal. Harry with the 7 and Isabella with a 5. Thank you guys so much for the fucking love. As well as Heather with the $10 on Venmo saying, can you run for office, please? Maybe one day. I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. As well as Brandon. Thank you so much for the $25 over on Venmo saying 50-year-old white cis male. Keep it up, Dean. I can't believe the mental gymnastics from these Trump supporters. It's mind-numbing how stupid they could be at points. I agree. Definitely. As well as a Richard, thank you so much for the $20 donation on Venmo, saying thank you for being cool. Thank you so much, Richard. And then one last one here, because holy dude, I have no clue what's going on today. You guys are being so fucking kind. Parker C. I'm going to give the first letter of your last name just so people know that it's not Parker Get a Job. Thank you so much for the $150 donation over on Venmo. Dude, thank you. I do not deserve that love from you. I don't deserve that love from Scarlett, from Danielle. You guys are being absolutely so kind today. Please fucking show some love to Parker C down below in that comment section who says, I hope Momo gets better. Momo's all better. I can confirm. She is good. Rough day yesterday, but she's better today. Thank you so much for the $150 donation. Seriously, you guys, y'all are going crazy today. Thank you so much for all of the support. Like, Jesus. Anyways, Marana, I did send you an invite to unmute. If you want to turn back on your mic, that'd be awesome. Let's go ahead and hop back into the debate. But seriously, you guys, I fucking mean it when I say I really appreciate you guys for the support. Just completely outrageous. Completely outrageous. Thank you guys so much for your generosity. Now, are you still here? I just sent you an invite to unmute, Marana.
Yep, I'm here.
Are you driving?
No, I'm just sitting in front of the house with the air conditioner on. That's why you might hear the car.
Okay, yeah, I heard like a beeping there. Gary Bear, thank you
Yeah,
for the
I
autumn
have the
picnic.
AC on, so when you don't move for a long time, it starts beeping.
Okay, yeah, I believe you. Sometimes it can be hard to distinguish between the noise of an AC and like the noise of a moving car. I do believe you though, because I've gotten good at making that determination. For everyone in the chat saying that she's driving, I don't think that she is. We would hear
No.
slightly more noise.
I wouldn't be doing this while I'm driving. I have a 9-year-old child, so I need to be, healthy and safe for him. So I wouldn't be doing this
Yeah,
while
there's
I'm
a lot of
driving.
other things you could also do to keep your kids safe by not voting for the guy that has now defunded the Department of Education and taken free school student lunches away from 3 million school students. But I digress. Let's go back to the first point that you made. You told us that you think that the unconstitutional behaviors and proclivities of Kamala Harris related towards her policy alongside Biden in the last 4 years to attempt to open up the southern border. So first and foremost, I mean, if we just want to talk about the brass facts here, open borders are not unconstitutional. The Supreme Court gave Congress, or just reaffirmed that Congress has plenary powers over immigration matters, which grants Congress really like broad and nearly executive authority to establish rules for immigration and naturalization. And that's coming from Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution that explicitly grants Congress the power to establish a uniform rule of naturalization, more so giving it the authority to decide who may become a citizen in the processes of immigration. Would you be able to point me towards specifically what section inside of the Constitution would make quote-unquote open borders unconstitutional?
No, I wouldn't. And I'll tell you why. Because, this is your job and this is what you do for a living. You debate. And this is not what I do for a living. So if you came to, my place of work and I started asking you questions about, policies, in healthcare, you probably wouldn't have all the answers. But I'll tell you, constitutional or unconstitutional, when you're a president and you make that type of decision, that really says a lot about your thinking, about your caring for the American people, about you wanting to put America first, about you wanting to keep Americans safe. Just because something is not unconstitutional doesn't mean that it's right.
Yeah, but remember the argument that you were attempting to make was that although you just named off 8 clear, expressly unconstitutional things that Donald Trump has done in the last 8 months, I'm sure to be able to do the same for Kamala Harris. Then I asked you for an example, and then you said that this was an example of her doing something unconstitutional.
The argument that I was initially trying to make is that I think that Trump has brought back, in one way or another, he has brought back some sort of patriotism and pride.
Please don't negate the fact that you're telling me that a wannabe all-powerful leader that wants to make the rules, that has disregarded the protections and rights offered to us under the Constitution and hates the Constitution in of itself, is bringing back patriotism and core American values such as the Constitution.
I think
that's just completely outrageous. This is like saying that the worst math teacher that you had in your life somehow made you so interested in math. This is like saying that, even though I grew up in a broken family with parents that didn't love me at times, that, I always felt like they were really good parents that did love me. This is like saying, the terrible preacher at that church I went to once in the last 5 years that was espousing heresy and false truths about my religious beliefs was the best preacher I've ever had in my life that really reinstilled my faith and value in Jesus Christ as God. Yet it's just contradictory on a foundational structural level. But I will also say here in response to your point about open borders that the Biden-Harris administration didn't open the borders, and that's pure misinformation.
And who opened the borders?
Who opened the borders? No one. I don't think anyone opened the borders. Can you tell me how the Biden-Harris administration opened the borders?
And what did they do to secure the border?
Well, I will answer your question after you answer mine, because it just sounds like you want to go deeper down the rabbit hole and disregard the fact that you said the Biden-Harris administration opened the borders, yet you'd be able to indicate to me no policy that they signed into law that opened the borders. So once again, the question remains, how did the Biden-Harris administration, what I'm asking is, how did the Biden-Harris administration open the borders?
everybody who listens to you knows that you can't answer what did they do to control and to keep the American people safe and to control the border crossing.
And everyone that listens knows that I don't entertain deflections, right? I will happily
I'm
answer
not
your question.
deflecting. I already told you,
Once again, I will happily answer your question when you are not using said question as a deflection.
I can tell you that I know that border crossings were high, very, very up much during the Obama administration and during the Biden-Harris administration, and would have continued under the Harris administration. The borders, we could say, have always been open, right? Because it's not that we at some point never let anyone in. So saying who opened the borders, maybe that was a poor choice of words on my end. But what I really meant was that how much and who are you allowing in? And, you know, what kind of control, what kind of record, what kind of policy are you setting at the border? But I mean, the border
And you're
is
telling
open
us
for
that you support Trump
anyone to
because
come
of
in.
his policy towards the border. What policy has he implemented since the end of the Biden-Harris administration to shut down and secure the southern border?
Well, border crossings are record low.
That's not the question that I
Down,
asked, though.
96 or 97.
Yeah, I
Well, how
understand
about
that.
just
I understand that border crossings are down by over 90%. I'll get
Right,
around
so
to
how
why,
about
but
just
can you
saying
please
that-
tell me what good policy he implemented to decrease border crossings?
Yes, that if you try to cross into our country illegally without pleading asylum, without the proper documentation, that we will catch you, we will jail you, or we will deport you.
That's a
We will not
statement.
let you
That's a
in.
statement, not a policy. So what executive order did he pass or what new policy
You
did
know
he
what?
implement
That
and sign
just
into
shows-
law
that
to help
just
shut down the
shows-
southern border?
That just shows that it is enough sometimes for a president to make a statement that other countries hear. And that's all you need to do is make a statement
Now
to
we're
keep
actually
your people safe.
we actually may be on a similar note here. We are now both agreeing that Donald Trump did not reduce undocumented border crossings with any good policy from our government, but he
Donald
rather.
Trump
Will you
didn't
allow me to
even
finish
have
speaking?
to.
I understand I interrupted you, so I'm kind of being a hypocrite here. But will you allow me to finish speaking?
As long as you admit to being a hypocrite.
And I'll make sure I give you your time too. How about this? How about we both like start speaking in like shorter segments of times, because I feel like when you talk, like you're talking for like 3 minutes, so now it's like I feel like I have to interrupt you if I want to be able to respond to a specific point. But I also talk a lot, so how about we both try to condense what we're saying here? We're both a little verbose.
I think that I'm really enjoying this conversation with you because you are challenging me and you're making me think. I think overall, as a woman with a child in this country, I feel safer now.
Okay.
That might sound
Okay,
crazy
see,
to you.
this is, we're
No,
moving
but
on.
that's-
I will
but that might sound-
happily tell you why you shouldn't on that point. But first, I want to respond to the last point. So I'm going to go ahead and take the mic now. You told us that no, Donald Trump did not reduce border crossings with good policy. He reduced border crossings by what he said. And to that, I partially agree. I don't think the reason why we see an over 90% reduction in undocumented entry into America is because we have a fit president that has implemented good, effective immigration policy. I rather think that we have lower border crossings because we have a wannabe authoritarian president that has been doing shit that's fascist, that has been scaring said entry away. Let me get this straight. All immigration into this country starts off with the base assumption that said immigrant will have a higher quality of life in the country. Now, Donald Trump is telling immigrants that they will not have a higher quality of life, but rather a lower quality of life by violating both the human and constitutional rights of the undocumented immigrants that are already in the United States of America. What do you think that potential undocumented immigrants thought to themselves when they saw Abrigo Garcia being illegally deported to El Salvador, where he was beaten and tortured and starved for 3 weeks? Meanwhile, SCOTUS ruled his removal was illegal, said the Trump administration had to bring him home, and they said, hell no, we don't care. What do you think that those potential immigrants thought to themselves when they saw the Venezuelan immigrants deported without due process, even though a federal judge had ruled they had to stay here until they had due process? process and were also sent to El Salvador. What do you think they saw when Donald Trump's administration was black-bagging college students, violating the withholding order of a judge, and taking them 1,000 miles away to an ICE detention center on the other side of the country? What do you think they thought when they saw Mr. Khalil, who was a legal green card holder in this country, detained in an ICE detention center for 3 months, even though he was not an undocumented immigrant? They saw tyranny. They saw human rights abuse. They saw blatantly illegal and fascist and things, which obviously disincentivize their entry. So that's why I think we've seen such a fast and drastic reduction in undocumented entry into this country. But that's bad for a handful of reasons. The first reason is why it's bad. It's immoral. That one should be obvious. It's obviously immoral to illegally deport people and have them tortured. The second reason is that it's short term. As soon as we have a president that's not a fascist, guess what? That incentive structure of sending entry away because you're telling them they'll have a lower quality of life will be reversed because we're no longer torturing immigrants or violating their constitutional rights.
Or maybe this is just the beginning and there will be a continuation. Maybe there had to be some sort of an extreme gesture to take back control. And from here, we can build on a real immigration reform.
Are you actually
Is that
justifying?
possible?
So, are you actually justifying the human and constitutional rights violations?
I'm going to say that, first of all, undocumented people who are not Americans, and the Constitution protects Americans. So people who are here
She's actually
undocumented
justifying it.
are not.
That's so.
No, I'm
gross.
not. I'm saying that many of those people who come in here, and it's not gross, Dean, because you couldn't go into any other country.
Yes,
and just
justifying
waltz
human
in.
rights violations is
No.
gross.
You
And I also
couldn't
want to give
just
you. I want to
go
give you
into-
pushback on something else that you
couldn't
said
just
there.
go into any other country. Listen, you couldn't just go into any other country and just establish that that is it. Now I'm here.
Oh, so
You
I just
can't
wanna-
do
so
that.
so I have
This
a
is not
question.
just
I have a question.
America.
If child
Okay,
marriage,
this is
if
everything.
child marriage and child rape was legal in every other country on earth, would you say that therefore, if we were to legalize child rape, that it
Child
would not be
marriage is
gross?
legal in many countries on earth, and you know that.
Wait, so does
Child
that mean
marriage
does
is
that mean if
legal.
child marriage occurs in
No.
America that it's not gross?
I'm sure that marriage occurs in America,
Is
and it is
wait,
gross. It is gross whether it occurs in America
exactly.
or gross
So
anywhere
it's
else.
gross
It's
regardless.
gross.
It's gross regardless of the amount of people that do it, because you just tried to tell me that if you go into any other country on the face of planet Earth and they deport you to a center for terrorists illegally where you're tortured, well, not only do other countries not really do that, but if they were to do that, that wouldn't mean that it's not gross if we were to do it. So shut the hell up. Your point is wrong, and you are an incredibly immoral, apathetic individual for attempting to justify not just illegal, but torturous mechanisms that the Trump administration has been using in relation to undocumented immigrants. It is totalitarian, immoral, and disgusting. And then also,
I
to
would
respond to
say that
something
it-
else that you said there, one last thing. You said that the
I would
Constitution
say
only
that
protects
it's
rights for...
immoral and disgusting.
You
Listen,
said-
I would say that it
Okay,
is
go ahead.
immoral and disgusting. Listen, I would say that it is immoral and disgusting to know that there are murderers and rapists who can potentially cross the border and come into this country, and to know that they will bring harm and they will bring along drugs and our youth will suffer.
Yeah, you're not
and
even.
to not
You're
to
not
do
even.
something
So
to stop it.
so it's crazy if a rapist crosses
So
the
I
border into the
think that it
country,
is-
but it's not crazy at all if a rapist, crosses through the security checks in D.C., goes into the White House and passes legislation. In fact, you want the rapist to be doing exactly that. I say we
is a
ban
rapist.
rapists from legally immigrating into the country, and we ban rapists from serving as our president. Now, something else I wanted to touch on here is you made a sly comment suggesting that the Constitution only protects rights for American citizens. Are you pro-life? Do you think abortion should be banned? Just a yes or no will suffice.
Do I think abortion should be banned?
Just a yes or no
No,
will
of course.
suffice.
No, of course not.
Okay, so you're
No.
pro-choice?
I am absolutely pro-choice. Yes.
I wasn't expecting that. See, we'll talk
no,
about
no,
how
Dean,
that's
no, no,
contradictory
I
to the
just-
Trump administration in a
One
bit.
second. Listen, I started off by saying that I felt that Trump was the lesser of the two evils, and also that I definitely don't agree with all of his policies. I am definitely pro-choice. Do I think that there should be some sort of counseling? Do I think that there should be, education? Absolutely. Do I think that that education should come with guilt? No. Do I think that there should be abortions in the, when you're 8.5 months pregnant because you all of a sudden changed your mind? No.
Actually, yeah,
Do
you
I?
do.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you
I
think that should be legal. I can tell you why you think that should be legal.
No, I think that it should be legal in circumstances,
No.
right? So if the
You think it
mother
should be legal in all circumstances ever. Could I tell you why?
that I think, just clarify for me that I think it should be legal in all circumstances ever. That what?
Yeah, that like women and girls should be able to access abortion all 9 months for any reason or no reason at all. Could I tell you why you think that?
Well, I know what I think, but go ahead. You can tell me.
Yeah, because you
Go
told us that
ahead.
the Constitution only protects rights for citizens. You don't become a citizen until birth.
I think that this is just going somewhere stupid. This is just so stupid. But besides,
it is going somewhere stupid.
it
That
is,
stupid
because
place
you
being the
can't just
idea that the
listen,
Constitution only protects
you
rights for
can't
citizens.
you can't just place all of morality and ethics and everything in just a document, right? You can't just always lean on the Constitution,
Well,
right?
you have to
can't.
maintain consistency. You said that the
You have to
Constitution only
maintain the
protects
fact-
legal rights for citizens, meaning under your
You-
view, citizens don't have any legal rights, as the Constitution is the highest document of all, supersedes federal,
Well,
state,
there have
and
been-
local
there have
law,
been
meaning that
people-
you would say
listen.
that a fetus prior to birth and citizenship has no legal right to life in any scenario whatsoever. So why would
I
abortion
did not
ever be
say
banned?
I did not say that I did not say that a fetus does not have any right to life. I didn't
Okay,
say
well
that.
then you're saying that non-citizens do have
What I'm-
constitutional
what I'm
protections.
saying-
Then you're
what I'm
saying that
saying-
non-citizens do have constitutional protections.
I'm not saying that either. I'm saying that
What do you
we
think a
have-
right to life is? That is a
I think
protection by a body of authority to prevent unjust infringements upon your life.
I think that we have a moral obligation as Americans and just as humans, okay, just as humans, to look past.
I actually got to kick you. Sorry, I have to kick you because you got a flag for hate speech. My bad. I had a kicker. She got the live restricted over on TikTok. That was kind of insufferable. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to be honest with you guys. It was a pretty insufferable conversation. I saw a couple people over on the YouTube chat saying, Dean, you're like interrupting her so much. Please stop. I don't like doing it, but I had to with her because she would just speak for like 5 minutes and not respond to anything that I was saying. The interruptions became necessary. Now for everyone over on TikTok, I do have to go ahead and restart the live stream. It takes 5 seconds. I'm so sorry that we have to do this. It sucks to do this so much. I'm actually going to give you guys a quick rundown on how to come back to the live right now. In the meantime, hit that follow button in the top left-hand corner. We're going to get right back into the debates for another 2.5 hours, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So hit that follow button in the top left-hand corner. That means you'll be able to find my live as soon as we're back. But here's how to come back like so fucking fast. So what you see on my screen is what you will see when the live ends. When the live ends, this will pop up on your phone screen. It will say live ended, and it will show you a picture of my profile. Once you're on the screen, when the live ends, if you click on my profile picture, you will be redirected to my account page, and this is what it will look like. At this point, I want you to count to 10, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Swipe down on my videos, refreshing the totality of my TikTok page, and then click right back on that live symbol around my profile picture, and you will be in the new live. I like to aim for like a 70 to 80% audience retention rate when we do these restarts. So if you're thinking to yourself that you may not come back, please reconsider and please come back. The restarts take 5 seconds, literally 5 seconds, and we're just going to hop back into debates for like another couple hours. So I'm going to start counting down from 5, and I'm going to end this stream. By the time at 1, the new stream will be started. It's going to do it now. Only because of the $200 dono, but also because of the kind message. I'm so happy that I give you hope. I'm so happy that the streams help you feel a little bit better about the terrible situation we find ourselves in here in America. Thank you, Randy. Show some love to Randy in the chat. Seriously, man. Show some love to Randy. And Mr. New Guest, Mr. Shane, take it away. Why the hell do you support who I consider to be the worst president of your life, Mr. Donald J. Trump?
First off, no new wars. I think since like Reagan, the first president, no new wars. Secondly, I don't support.
No new wars?
Yeah, I don't support teaching gender ideology or whatever that is in colleges. So I teach the funding department of education for that. I really think that people should learn more about like balancing checkbooks, budgeting, all that stuff. Things I didn't even learn in school. I had to wait till I graduated to.
Oh, dear God. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, first and foremost, defunding the Department of Education doesn't just defund college courses, quote unquote, teaching gender ideology. It kind of just defunds college courses as a whole. And if you're saying that by defunding the Department of Education, courses teaching gender ideology will take a hit and will be less effective in dissemination of said information simply because that is information taught in college, the implicit assumption here is that all information taught in college will be less effective and take a hit because of said defunding, which is obviously not a good thing. And I've now told you why you're wrong in that first point without even debating you on the basis of the merits of teaching gender ideology in college. Second point here, in reference to your first point, you said that, well, he started no new wars under his term. I would say that under the Biden-Harris administration, they also didn't start any new wars. And arguably, what he did to Iran was a new war. And we could get into that, but I'll give you the mic to respond to my first point.
I don't know, dude. I think you like to spin things, and I think you cherry pick a lot of uneducated people on here.
Like you?
Like, first of all, I'm not MAGA either. Like, I definitely am a Republican. Like, secondly, you support open borders, just allows all the DRUGs, GSs into the country and everything too. It just doesn't make a lot of sense either.
Yeah, first point, I don't support open borders. Second point, what percentage of the DRUGS that are brought into America over the southern border are brought across through legal ports of entry by citizens?
Again, I don't support drugs coming into the country.
Are you going to answer my question?
It doesn't matter.
Yes, it does matter because you said you support open borders, which means you just support all the DRUGS coming into the country.
No,
actually,
I don't support.
According to Homeland Security, 80% of the DRUGS that do come into the country are coming through legal ports of entry by citizens. Now, if you're telling me that you want to crack down on the DRUGS coming into the country, and that's something that you think that Donald Trump is doing, please name one time he's ever spoken at a podium on a mic about the 80% of DRUGS that are trafficked into America by citizens.
The border policy in general is better when it's not just anybody can come into the country.
You didn't even answer my question. What a pivot and deflection. You told me when we started this conversation that I cherry pick unintelligent guests and I twist shit, but here you are assuming that you are an intelligent guest twisting shit by not responding to what I am saying.
I am responding. You talk fast and you use these words. It doesn't make you right, bro.
Okay, what makes me right is my alignment with reality via having a vast space of knowledge and reason to believe in what I do, and I'm proving that to you via the fact that I'm giving you statements and arguments to critique your support for Trump, to critique Trump in of itself that you literally can't even respond to. Now, you have the mic to respond to them, I just don't see you doing it.
You asked me what I support. I said no open borders, defunding the Department defunding the Department of Education. No new wars under Trump. I gave you 3 specific points, and then you're just giving me all this like word salad about like how that's okay. That's why you guys lost.
So I mean, the issue with you is you're saying that what I'm saying is word salad. When in all reality, I don't think it's my fault. I think it's yours. You know. So when I was like a junior in high school in calculus, I wasn't doing my homework. I wasn't paying attention, and I thought that what my teacher was saying about calculus was all just a word salad that I couldn't comprehend. He was a great teacher, good at his job. It was my fault because I didn't do my homework. And he left, by the way. That's why you guys lost. You guys lost because I'm so stupid and I support Trump with no reason at all. And when you give me good reason why I'm wrong, I run away. You're right. That is why we lost. Spot on. The only thing he said on the live that was true. Moving on to the next guest. Hop in that queue if you support Trump. Let's get that next guest loaded up in here. We got Money connecting to the stream. Actually, we got Chris connecting to the stream. Here we go. Hey, let's see here. Give me one moment, folks. Give me one moment while we're trying to get that next guest loaded up in here. Also, make sure that we're double tapping on that phone screen. And if you are an American adult that supports Trump as president, go ahead and drop a Trump with your age down below in that comment section. Hop in the guest requests. Boom. Gare Bear, thank you for the tiny Diany. Gare Bear, you've been supporting the hell out of me the last couple of days. I appreciate you, man. As well as, let's see here, Addie, that's ADDIE. Thank you for the $20 donation over on Venmo. As well as I read your message there. I'll have to check out that bill. I'll take a look. Thank you so much for the love, Addie. Let's get 200 Addie W's down below. That is ADDIE. Seriously, thank you so much. As well as Anna with a $5 on Venmo. Thank you. Matt with a Galaxy. Thank you so much, you guys. Jenna with a 5. Whitney with a 5, guys. Thank you so much. Then Kaylee with a 10. I really appreciate that. And Paige with a $25 donation on Venmo. Paige with a $25 says, I love watching your lives. Thank you for all that you do and educating people every day. Thank you so much. What are your thoughts about Trump's claim about Tylenol being linked to autism? I did a full 2-hour stream on it yesterday.
Why do you vape?
So, Paige, if you want to see my thoughts on that, what I'd recommend doing is going to my YouTube account and then going to my VOD from yesterday. That guy was like 4.5, so we had to kick him out, youngest person ever. Let's go to get that next guest, Tony, loaded up into the stream, guys. Go ahead and hop in that queue if you're an American adult that's MAGA. We're going to get
Hey,
you
Dean.
connected up here right now. That was not Tony. Didn't mean to load you in. Let's try to get Tony up here right now. I actually have no clue where Tony went. What's up, Money? You support Trump?
Yes, sir.
Age, please.
Oh, I'm 37 years old, dude.
Okay. Why the hell do you support Trump as prez?
I mean, who else am I gonna support? You don't talk about the state of the Democrats Party nowadays, do you? I mean, if you want to be a good Democrat, a good Democrat nowadays, all you have to do is just oppose Donald Trump. Do you think this is a healthy for our country? Do you really think that?
Do I think it's healthy for a country that in order to be a good Democrat, all that you have to do is oppose Donald J. Trump? No. And I also don't know if that's true. Because, like, for instance, many individuals oppose Donald J. Trump that aren't Democrats, such as those involved with the Lincoln Project. But once again, the question being asked here is, why do you support Trump? Do you think he's a good president?
Because he kept his promises.
Dean, really?
He
Which
kept
ones?
all his promises.
He kept all of his promises?
You're going to talk about... Hold on. You're going to talk about the
Sorry,
Epstein files, which is, I know this is not something has been kept. Listen, I'm right there with you, Dean. I'm not denying that. But look at all the promises he made throughout the campaigns.
Dude, he made so many. He made so many that he kept. Like he promised us that he would end the Russian invasion of Ukraine on day one. He definitely did that one, right?
No, well, I mean, he's working on it. Obviously, this is not something easy. Can anybody can do? I mean, he's actually working on it. Like, I mean, what did Biden do to stop that war?
Yeah,
in
for
4
sure.
years. I mean, not 4 years, in 3 years.
So Biden
What
did.
did he do?
Biden did something better than what Donald Trump did for the first 4 months of his term. Can I explain how?
What is it?
He funded Ukraine.
Providing Ukraine money?
Yeah. Providing Ukraine money made the victim of Ukraine stronger against the Russian aggression, that not only in virtue of that fact made Russia weaker, but also put more international pressure on the country of Russia to start peace talks or stop their invasion. Donald Trump, on the other hand, had the thought, which is likely similar to yours and that of other members of the GOP, which was if we defund Ukraine, this will be a good thing because we instrumentally shouldn't be involved, and inevitably this will reduce global tension. However, what ended up occurring is once we defunded Ukraine, making them weaker, by virtue of that fact made Russia stronger. So then Russia was the least likely they've ever been to entertain peace talks, the least likely they've ever been to entertain the idea of stopping their invasion, and actually just started dropping the most bombs of all time since the invasion begun in 2021 on Ukraine.
Well, I mean, Dean, I'm right there with you. Obviously, what's going on between Ukraine and Russia is it's basically something horrific, right? And it's not like a war that you can just end with a push upon. Obviously, Trump, when he was running
But I just described how the Democrats had better policy for Ukraine and Russia than Trump did.
No, they did not. Because
so then, why did Donald Trump concede? Then why did Donald Trump concede to it? If the Democrats didn't have better policy of wanting to fund Ukraine, then how come on July 11th Donald Trump resumed funding to Ukraine?
No, he did not.
Yes,
what
he
happened
did.
Is
on no. On July 11th, you could find multiple sources for this. He resumed funding to Ukraine.
So why don't you talk about the fact that? I mean, basically, all the NATO right now, they have to buy all the equipments from the U.S. instead of us giving them all these equipments for kind of free. And why don't you talk about what?
Why aren't you
Trump
responding to what I said? This is a deflection. Also, real quick, man.
No.
Also, I just gotta ask you real quick. I just gotta ask you. What time is it?
What time is it? Where? In the U.S.?
Where you're at?
I'm on the Eastern Coast, man.
All right. Unfortunately, we're only looking to talk to American citizens. I was so confused by what everyone in the chat was spamming there saying not US. I was reading it as not us. I was like really confused. But then I caught up on it. Let's go to move on to the next guest. Everyone, just give us a minute. Only up in that queue if you are MAGA. We are only looking to talk to American citizens that support Trump as president. What's up? Are you MAGA?
Yes.
Age,
What's
please?
up? I'm 18.
Are you driving?
No, I'm in the passenger seat.
Yeah, have your driver say hey.
Hey.
Now I want you to say hey.
Hey.
Now your driver say hey.
Hello.
Can you guys say hi?
We can say, hold on, pause,
at the
pause. We
same
can say
time?
two different things at the same
at
time.
the same say it at the same time.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Hi.
Hello.
All right, you proved me wrong, Dane. Take it away. Why do you support Trump?
Well, I actually have a question for you. I am MAGA, however, I was wondering about the Charlie Kirk assassination attempt. Do you think that the U.S. as a country is in a better position now than when Charlie Kirk was alive?
No, because I think that the GOP has used his assassination to further embolden their divisive rhetoric, Nazi-esque propaganda. Literally listen to Stephen, to what I forget his name because of how unimportant he is to me, but he's a terrible guy. Stephen Miller, I think, listened to his speech at Charlie Kirk's memorial, literally imitating that of Nazis and Hitler, and the way that Donald Trump has been exploiting the death of Charlie Kirk to say that you're a terrorist if you're anti-fascist, and that the media shouldn't have a legal right to criticize him. But yeah, why do you support Trump?
Okay. That's actually a valid take. So I would say my political views, I would say I'm about 80% right-leaning. I'm about 20% left-leaning. So what I mean by that, I'm very Democrat when it comes to the environment. I think it's stupid that the environment's politicized. I don't know why that both parties decide to politicize that, but I'm 100% pro-environment. But the biggest thing that I just turned 18, but so I wasn't able to vote in the election, unfortunately. But the biggest thing that I support about Trump is his beliefs on abortion. And I know that you are pro-choice.
We're real quick.
And you believe that yes.
Can I play you a clip of something that Donald Trump said today?
Years ago in the 1920s and
have you ever?
Years ago in the 1920s and the 1930s, they said, global cooling will kill the world. We have to do something. Then they said global warming will kill the world. But then it started getting cooler, so now they could just call it climate change because that way they can't miss. It's climate change. Because if it goes higher or lower, whatever the hell happens, there's climate change. It's the greatest con job ever perpetrated on the world, in my opinion. Climate change, no matter what happens, you're involved in that.
There you go.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, thank you for showing me that. I did not. Where did he say this?
Yeah, he said this 3 hours ago at the UN General, what do they call it? Well, there's a name for it.
Assembly? General Assembly?
Yeah, he said that 3 hours ago at the UN General Assembly.
Oh shoot! I didn't. Hey, thank you for showing me that, man. Like I said, that is one of that is the biggest thing I disagree with him on. I also disagree how he went more into debt after he cut a bunch of government funding. I think if you're gonna cut government funding, you want to go all the way on that. Which is why I personally relate more to Elon Musk's political beliefs. But he wasn't American born, so you know that's out of the question for presidency.
Why do you support Trump?
Because I think that the biggest issue posing American citizens today, and what we really need to consider, my number one issue, at least what I believe in, is abortion. I think it's insane how and if you don't want to debate abortion, I completely understand.
I'll have a conversation with you. I'll have a conversation with you.
No, it's okay. There's countless clips of you talking about it. I basically know your take.
I'll totally have a conversation with you. So you think that women and girls having access to abortion is one of the biggest issues in America today?
Well, I don't really think them having access to healthcare, because if that's how you frame it, then yeah, I 100% believe that women and girls should have access to healthcare, but I don't believe abortion is healthcare.
Okay, because you think abortion is murder, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Why? And I'll tell you the reason why that stems from, and I know it's all, no matter how much you talk, it's all going to stem back to this. I am a Christian. I am a Christian of faith, and I do believe that it stems back to conception, and conception is when life begins.
Check this out.
So by my definition, and I know you aren't, are you agnostic or atheist?
So I'm agnostic. I actually have the most compelling argument that you shouldn't be legally pro-life.
Okay.
Gare Bear, thank you so much for the Interstellar, man. Thank you so much for the love, Gare Bear. Show Gare Bear some love. Gare Bear has been showing so much love on TikTok recently. Show Gare Bear some love back in that chat. As well as Eliza, thank you for the $10 in Venmo, saying, geez, Dean, why do you got to speak with words? Somebody say that. Thank you for the love, Eliza. As well as Avril, thank you for the $10 over on Venmo. Thank you so much. And Blake, Thank you for the $25 donation on Venmo. Blake says, thank you for being here every day. I know it's stressful, but we love you, man. I love you too, Blake. You're always here too. Thank you so much for the love, bro. As well as Kiana with a $10 saying, thank you for helping me defeat my evil my evil MAGA family members on Facebook. Let's fucking go, Kiana. Thank you for the love. And then Tyler with a 10 saying, happy Tuesday. Thank you so much for the love. Thank you, Tyler. And then another Tyler with a $10 over on PayPal, and Peter with a 10 as well. If you want to support me, you can find my Venmo and my PayPal and the link tree in my bio on TikTok. Now back to you. Here's the deal. What branch of Christianity are you?
I am non-denominational / Protestant. I don't know necessarily what branch my church identifies with, but I just follow the Bible. I follow Jesus.
Perfect.
I put the Bible's beliefs in front of my churches. If my pastor tells me to do something, it
Perfect.
contradicts the Bible, I'm going to say, you know what, man, I'm not going to listen to you.
So you're Baptist, pretty much. Okay, got it. Fantastic. Okay. Moving on. Can you point me to any clear text in the scripture of the Christian Bible that says some sins, outside of blasphemy, are worse than other sins? Or do you accept the common theological understanding that all sins are equal in the eyes of God?
I believe all sins are equal in the eyes of God, but just to kind of clarify on something, did you say that blasphemy is the unforgiven sin or blasphemy against the Holy Spirit? Because those are two very distinct
blasphemy
things.
about the Holy Spirit, but it's
okay.
not. It was not concerned in our conversation. I was just
correct.
being specific.
Correct. Okay. Yeah.
You just said that all sins are equal in the eyes of God. Can we agree that the eyes of God are your moral standard?
Well, I think it's God's moral standard.
But God's moral standard is yours, right?
Yeah. I take God's morals onto myself, yes.
Precisely. So if your moral standard says that all sins are equal in the eyes of God, then all sins should be equal in your eyes as well. And this is where legislating on the basis of a sin gets very complicated for you, because you're suggesting that because abortion is a sin, it should be illegal, but it's also a sin to lie to your child and tell them that Santa Claus exists. Should that be illegal too, given that all sins are equal in the eyes of your moral standard?
That's a very interesting and compelling argument, but my personal belief on that that's a very interesting. For me, if I'm viewing abortion as murder, right, and I'm looking at it, I'm gonna classify it under murder. It's not illegal to lie, right? But
well, is the classification of murder just merely a description insofar as why you think it is a sin identical to that of lying?
Can you rephrase that? I didn't understand that.
Regardless of whatever you say, these are still two sins that are identical to one another, right?
Yeah, let me clarify my moral belief system here. So let's take I think that the best image to go off of for what we should believe in Christianity is Jesus Christ, who is I believe is God. But that's besides the point. So if I'm gonna go and look at Jesus's life, am I gonna say, oh, did he view all sins as equal, right? And I would say yes. However, he died for all of our sins, right? My personal belief. I know you're gonna disagree with this.
Hey, listen. Little side note, please try to stay out of the preaching unless it is relevant to the argument.
No. I'm just trying to clarify my moral belief to you.
Yeah, as long as it's relevant to the argument, it's fine.
Okay, 100%. So, for my moral belief, when you're bringing up, is lying to your kid, that's a fantastic point. I've never heard that. Thank you for telling me that, because I do need to think about this, because that does bring up a very interesting point, that if all sin are equal, then that should be illegal.
Can I help you?
However, in my moral view, what?
Can I help you think through it?
100%.
Can we agree that lying to your child shouldn't be illegal? About the existence of Santa Claus?
Lying to your child shouldn't be illegal or legal?
Should not be illegal. It should not be illegal, right?
Yeah, it should be legal.
It should be legal. Fantastic.
Yes.
Okay. Well, guess what? Because you think that abortion should be illegal and lying to your child about the existence of Santa Claus should be legal, even though you admit in transparency that in the eyes of your moral standard, those two sins are equal, you are giving me a logical contradiction. What does this mean? Well, it means the view's false, as contradictions can never be true. What does that mean? It means that we need to operate our criminal justice system off of some other framework that isn't false. And the best substitute for the moral framework of Christianity when running a criminal justice system, once you realize applying the moral framework of Christianity to the criminal justice system is incoherent, internally contradictory, and false, would be that of a secular view. What does this mean for you as a Christian? For you as a Christian, this means that you can come to common understandings about morality and what is right and wrong, given your faith in Jesus as God, given your obedience to the scripture of the Bible, while still yet upholding a separate and distinct framework insofar as how you apply the moral understandings that you possess to that of a secular criminal justice system operating in America today. Right? What does this mean for our debate, or more so our argument on abortion? It means that in virtue of the fact that you cannot apply your Christian beliefs to a criminal justice system, given that they're incoherent and self-contradictory, you would be forced into either saying that although you personally think it's morally wrong, you also think other individuals should be able to make that decision for themselves, making you legally pro-choice, or you have a secular, non-Christian argument to demonstrate why this sin specifically should be illegal under the secularly ran criminal justice system.
Okay, yeah, I understand where you're coming from, but let's say I go down the path of thinking of option. Like I said, I never said that I think my personal beliefs are based on Christianity. I never really said that the government's beliefs should be based on that, because that comes with a whole slew of problems with the church, like influence the government negatively.
Okay, so then without mentioning Christianity, why should abortion be banned?
Because I think that life starts at conception.
Okay, I also agree that life starts at conception. However, that is a scientific fact, not a moral argument.
Okay, but do you think that all humans should have human rights?
No. I don't, and that's a very common understanding.
Really? You don't think all you
No, not at all. That's a very common understanding too. For instance,
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's a very common understanding that everyone agrees to. It's just the shock value in actually hearing someone say it out loud. It doesn't change the fact that it's true. Like, for instance, brain dead patients, they're a human and alive, but we don't give brain dead patients the right to life because we don't think that it's murder when we pull the plug on them. We only think that most humans, or some humans, have the right to life, okay? Because if you're a brain dead patient, you lack cognitive function, you lose your right to life. If you're a dead human, you're still a human, but you don't have human rights in the same sense that you or I do. So what is the standard that we should determine on if a human life has human rights, more so the right to life or not? I like to use the standard of consciousness. I think that the thing that makes us morally valuable is our ability to subjectively interact in the world around us, our ability to retain knowledge and information about the world around us, and our ability to have that sentient experience. And that experience only emerges in the life of the fetus at around 20 through 24 weeks, meaning that's when I think that the fetus becomes morally valuable. However, prior to that point, I do not think it's morally valuable. For that reason, I'd find no good reason to infringe upon a woman in acting upon her bodily autonomy by evicting said fetus from her womb and getting an abortion by a medical health professional.
Okay, so then if you think that the depictor of when we should apply human rights to life, do you think that when we go to sleep, we lose an aspect of our human rights because we are changing our state of consciousness?
No, I don't think that a change in your state of consciousness would change your human rights, as I think that any prevalence in sentience in that of human beings gives you the right to life. It's not gradular, it's binary.
Isn't becoming brain dead a change in consciousness?
It's not a gradular change in consciousness expressed. It is a complete lack of consciousness on any level. As I just said, it's not gradular, it is binary. Right? Meaning it is either you possess these traits or you do not possess these traits. And if you possess these traits, regardless at which the level you do, you would have this human right to life.
Okay, but isn't a baby's development or a fetus's development in the womb of brain and brainwaves, isn't that a granular development? And if you're saying that it's
descriptively granular development. However, that descriptively granular development of the fetus's brain in level of sentience express doesn't give any bearing on if it would possess the right to life or not, as I think that the possession of the right to life would be given to said life form based upon the emergence of this trait at any level.
Wait, pause. So you're contradicting yourself, because you said that it's granular, and then I gave you an example of granular, and you said, but that's just a different type of granular?
I think that you're misunderstanding me. I'll just repeat my position because it's
I
not
probably am.
contradictory.
I'm sorry.
My position is simple. I think if this trait is exhibited in a human life form, right, just for ease and of purpose of conversation, my stance does get a little bit more complex than that. But just for ease of conversation, if they have sentience, then they have the right to life. When it begins to develop sentience, they get the right to life, right, regardless of the level of sentience they have.
I don't know this fact off the top of my head. When do brainwaves start in the womb?
Around 7 weeks.
So do you think that the abortion cutoff should be 7 weeks because then at that point they have some level of consciousness?
No, because brainwaves are not equivalent to consciousness. Consciousness emerges out of a sufficient level of complex neuroanatomy in brainwaves, which the current neurodoctor studies on the subject says occurs at around 20 through 24 weeks.
Do you think the cutoff should be 23, 24 weeks?
For elective lethal abortions, yes. But I think that, you don't see any elective lethal abortions after that point anyways.
Okay, so would you take the belief that 22 weeks and 6 days would be unjust to get an abortion because they're basically developed to that point, and there can be variables in development.
No, if they don't have the thymocortical connections, if they're not displaying low levels of sentience, then I don't think that there's anything wrong with an elective lethal abortion. Once again, it's binary. It's either you got it or you don't.
Okay, but didn't earlier you say that the development of a baby in the womb, its brain, didn't you say it's a different type of granular? Wait.
What's binary is either you have low levels of sentience experience or you don't have low levels of sentience experience.
Quick question: am I able to tell you how I'm currently understanding your argument? Because maybe you can clarify. Because I think I'm getting something mixed up here.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, man. I know I'm a slow thinker, but your argument is that as soon as the light's on, it doesn't matter how bright the lights are. That's life. But as soon as the lights go off, or the lights are like fully, then that's not life.
So it's not if it's life or not; it's if it's valuable life or not. And essentially, yeah, my position gets a little bit more complex than that, but we're ignoring the complexities for the ease of conversation. Yes.
Okay. So, do you believe that let's say there's a child in the womb and they are developing at a slower rate than usual, like whether it's a birth defect or augmentation of their DNA or something of that sort? Do you believe that they should be able to get aborted? Because by your standard, if they're like lacking the certain amount of consciousness or the certain amount of brain waves that are required to cause consciousness, do you think that the mother should be able to go, hey, technically they're not alive yet and they're going to get life later, but that really doesn't matter.
If
so
low levels of subjective experience were to emerge in like a fetus at 30 weeks instead of 25, then I'd think that woman would be doing nothing wrong if she were to get an elective lethal abortion at 29 weeks.
But didn't you just say that consciousness or subjective experience is your definition of human life?
No, it's not my definition.
Or not human life, human valuable life?
Of value.
So your line of value is a certain abstract amount of subjective experience?
No, it's just if they have any.
Wait, but you just said if they have little subjective experience at like 30 weeks, as you just said, that they would be able to get an abortion.
Yeah, that's when they start developing any level of subjective experiences. At 30 weeks would imply that they don't have any level of subjective experience at 29 weeks, meaning that I wouldn't think if a woman were to get a lethal abortion, that would be wrong.
But don't you think that the promise that they would get subjective experience at 30 weeks, that would say that it's human life?
Once again, you're going back to the human life point. A fetus at 29 weeks would be a human life. It just wouldn't be more valuable.
Human valuable life.
Lower levels of subjective experiences.
Human valuable life. I'm sorry.
No.
So wait. So okay. So. All right. I understand that point. All right. Hey, thank you so much for having a conversation.
Do you think that unicellular human zygotes in the first stage of human development have the right to life? Because of a promise of subjective experiences in the future?
Yeah, I think as soon as the egg is fertilized, then it's a valuable human life. Okay, I think all life is valuable human life.
So IUDs, that's a form of birth control. IUDs, in some circumstances, will allow for that conception to occur, meaning that there's a unicellular human zygote that is present, but then it'll kill it by not allowing it to implant into the uterine lining. Is that murder?
No, I don't think. Let me explain my point here. I don't think, because I did hear you talk about. It was either Charlie Kirk or Nick Fuentes that you talked to this about. You brought up this point. I don't Charlie Kirk, rest in peace. I don't think that we should define women who have IUDs that retroactively, let's say theoretically that it retroactively does kill the egg after it's been fertilized. I don't think that's on the woman because she is not making that active decision. No woman gets an IUD to say, oh, it's going to abort every baby that it is. It's in goal to prevent fertilization in the first place, correct?
I think it's totally reasonable to assume that if like a woman like knew that this is what an IUD can do, then the IUD does do it, that she'd be culpable in part for that act. I just say that that culpability is meaningless because of the death of the zygote is meaningless. But I could give you an analogy to demonstrate this point. Let's just imagine that there was like a mother and a father that knew if they didn't feed their children for a week, their children would die from starvation. If they didn't feed their children for a week and their children did die from starvation, do you think that mother and father would be culpable for murder?
So are you defining getting an IUD as child endangerment?
No, I asked you a question to demonstrate that it wouldn't require an active act of killing in order for one to be culpable for murder.
Okay, yes.
The analogy of like
I would
a mother and father knowing that if they don't feed their children for a week, their children will die, and then if they were to not feed their children for a week and the children did die, would they be culpable for the murder of their children?
Yeah, if you starve your kids, it's murder, yeah.
Okay, so then if a woman gets an IUD, knowing that this IUD can kill a zygote, and it does kill a zygote, would she be culpable for the murder of said zygote?
Well then I think that we should ban IUDs. I don't think we should retroactively
That's not the
punish
question
women
that I asked
for
you. I
their
didn't ask you
decisions
if we should
when
ban
it was legal.
IUDs. I asked you if a woman were to have an IUD, knowing that it could kill a zygote, and it does, would she be culpable for murder?
No, because I think the current culture and climate of today in the political environment where there's people promoting IUDs and promoting premarital sex and the culture and the medical fields that are promoting these type of things, I don't think that's on the women if they're not
Wait. Didn't you say that abortion is murder?
Forward, if I say
Wait. Didn't you say wait? Didn't you say abortion's murder?
Yeah, no. Pause.
You earlier you said that abortion is murder.
We shouldn't punish women for what they do.
Wait.
It is.
Wait. Don't you think that abortion is promoted in the current political climate of America today by the liberals?
Yeah, it's murder.
So then in accordance with that view, it's not murder.
Who get abortions today. Wait, pause.
So then, wait, because it's promoted inside of the political climate of America today by liberals. Therefore, abortion isn't murder, and your argument is null and void. Oh, but you don't accept that. You say, even though you do think it is promoted and accepted in the political climate of America today, you still think it's murder. Okay. Meaning that even if you think that that IUDs and the use of IUDs are promoted and accepted in the political climate of America today, you'd still say that an IUD killing a zygote is murder, and a woman who has an IUD that knows it can kill zygotes and does kill a zygote is a murderer, right?
I said that. No, pause. I did say that an IUD killing a fertilized egg is a murder, and I did say that getting an abortion of a fetus is murder. But I'm saying that we shouldn't punish the women, and we shouldn't charge them as because
that's not what I'm asking you. That's not what I'm asking you. That's not what I'm asking you. I'm asking you if it would make the woman culpable for murder.
Can you define culpable for me?
Responsible.
No. Because it's currently legal.
Oh, wait.
No, actually, yes. Okay. No, wait, I changed my point. Actually, yes. Okay. I think that they are culpable for murder, but I don't think they should be punished for murder.
Okay, and exactly my point. That's why we shouldn't trust your pro-life position, because the logic that underpins your pro-life position to demonstrate why you think abortion is murder also entails that sexually active women on some forms of birth control are murderers. And that is a completely egregious, outrageous, insane, preposterous conclusion.
Whoa, but I said that we should ban IUDs. Did I not?
This doesn't change the absolutely outraged, preposterous, delusional, egregious assertion that you think women that are sexually active on some forms of birth control are murderers. And that's the issue with the view, because of just how absurd of an outcome that is. So when we're like testing the consistency of any given view and having debate and discourse over it, like it'll the my function side of a debate will typically reduce down to one of two goals: either to demonstrate that you are inconsistent in holding your view, or to demonstrate that your view would entail incredibly absurd, insane, egregious, delusional outcomes. Right? It's a part of the Socratic method, and the method in which I have been using inside of this debate with you was that second part of the reductio ad absurdism by demonstrating that your view and the logic in which underpin it, right, leads to incredibly egregious, insane, preposterous, absurd outcomes, like the classification of women on birth control as murderers.
Okay, but then I'm gonna directly quote from what you said earlier here, is that saying somebody say something would sound preposterous, but in concept it actually isn't. Like when you said that all human life don't deserve human rights, that sounds insane to hear, but you're saying it's not actually an insane concept. I'm saying
I demonstrated how you agreed with it by like arguing and more so detailing how you don't think that it's murder to pull the plug on a brain dead patient, right?
I never agree with that. I do think it's murder. I never agree with that.
So do you think it should be banned to pull the plug on brain dead patients in the hospital?
Yes, my great-grandpa was brain dead. We didn't pull the plug on him because morally I thought it was incorrect.
Wait, you think that it should be literally illegal for doctors to pull the plug on brain dead patients?
If there's a chance of life resuscitation,
there's
which
no
almost
chance.
always
No. There's never in brain dead patients, because brain death is defined as the permanent lack of all cognitive function. In circumstances where somebody was declared as brain dead and then quote unquote came back to life, it's because they weren't actually brain dead. But for an individual that is truly brain dead, do you think that it is murder and should be illegal to pull the plug on them?
Yes.
You're just lying.
Dean, how are you gonna sit here and laugh at my views?
Get off my line. You're just lying, dude. I'm sorry. I don't entertain liars. I don't entertain liars, bro. Dude's just lying. Oh, God. We're going to move on to the next guest. Let's go to get our next guest, Tony, up in here. Get fucking pushed, bro. Just straight up lying. Henry, thank you for the galaxy, dude. So bad faith. I don't entertain like such like egregiously bad faith arguments. Kathy, thank you so much for the $20 over on Super Chat. I appreciate you for that, love. Let's get 200 Kathy W's down below in that chat. Thank you so much. Let's get 200 Kathy W. Seriously, Kathy, it means the world. Thank you so much for your kindness. We're gonna go to get that next Trump supporter loaded up into the box right now. I'm still thinking about that. Why the hell would he? Why would he say that? Why would he think that it's like better to die on this unreal hill of saying that it should be legal and is murder to pull the plug on a definitively brain dead person? Dude, like, what does that even mean? Does this mean that like families should be like culpable for the thousands of dollars that it costs per day to sustain the biological life of a brain dead patient? Like, does this mean that like the doctors that have pulled the plugs on like thousands of brain dead patients are like literally worse than like Jeffrey Dahmer? Like, they are legitimate genociders? Like, bro, like nobody thinks that. And if he did think that, that would mean that there is an active, ongoing genocide happening in nearly every country of the world today that no one cares about, that no one is talking about. And honestly, if I held to that position about something, that there was an active, ongoing genocide of millions of people that no one else alive cared about at all, and every time I brought it up, people laughed in my goddamn face, I would literally go insane. I would go insane. I would be completely detached from society. I would become a hermit of my own thoughts and think that everyone else is insane. I wouldn't even want to talk to people. What's up, Liam? Do you support Trump?
Hey, yeah, I do. So I just actually had a super quick question. I saw a clip.
Are you here to debate?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How old are you? How old are you?
20.
What year were you born in?
2005, May 18th.
Awesome. Quickly, before I give you the mic back, I am going to go to thank a handful of people.
Yeah, go ahead.
Doppelganger? Dude, holy fuck. Thank you so much for the $300 super chat. That is fucking insane. Holy shit. Doppelganger with the $300 super chat over on YouTube super chat says, love having you out here in the world debating and entertaining us all. Doppelganger, that is so incredibly kind of you. I really appreciate you for your generosity. I do not deserve that much love. $300 is a shit ton of money. Thank you. Thank you so much, Doppelganger. In fact, if everyone watching the live can please show some love to Doppelganger down below in the chat, it'd just mean the world to me. Thank you so much once again. As well as Kara and Kate, I appreciate you both for the $10 donations over on Venmo, as well as I just read y'all's messages. Thank you so much for the love. As well as Eliza with the $10 saying, hey, Dean, I absolutely love what you do. I look forward to listening to you every day. Keep it up. You're changing the world. Thank you, Eliza. Thank you for the $10 and the kind message. And then Lila, thank you for the $5. Rose with the $10, just dropping a heart emoji. Thank you so much. And then Kate with the $10 on Venmo, saying I just got a text from my family asking why I would send money to support somebody with you being a liberal since my transactions are public. So with this, I will say here's some more. Kate, you're an icon. Thank you for the $10 as well. As well as Hannah, thank you so much for the $20 over on Venmo. Hannah says, thank you, Dean. Did you hear that the Trump administration is canceling the government's annual report on food insecurity? Yeah, the hunger report, which will make it harder to measure the effects on food stamps cuts. Yes, they're literally saying if we don't measure food insecurity in America, then it doesn't exist. Literally like the same as like a toddler covering their eyes during hide and go seek saying, since I can't see you, you can't see me. Insane. As well as Louise, thank you so much for the $10 over on PayPal. Catherine, thank you for the $20, saying I hope you're feeling better today. I am. Thank you so much, Catherine. Show some love to Louise and Catherine down below in that chat, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate everyone so much for the love. If you're watching and you want to support me, you can find both of those two, Venmo and PayPal, in the link tree in my bio on TikTok and in that pinned message on the YT stream. Take it away, Liam. Why do you support Trump?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like as a young conservative, I think he's done a lot for our generation. I think he's connected with us a lot more than what Biden and Harris would have done. And for that reason, he kind of caught my vote. I think he's, like I said, I'm kind of killing a dead horse already, but he's like he's been with us more. Like he's interacted
How's he
with us
connected with you more?
I feel like he's just like put his name out there with like the younger generations. I think he's
Like how
connected
so?
with us more.
Can you give
I feel
specific
like
examples?
I think going on to like the Nelk podcast and so on and so forth, I think he's done a better job trying to connect with with the younger generation, I think. And I was just quickly going to ask you, what has the Biden administration done to connect to our generation other than just like say that they have?
Nah, listen. He did do that. He did do that better than the left. He did go on more podcasts than Kamala Harris did. I think the reason why is obvious. He had 8 years to prep his campaign, so come a handful of months before the election, you know, it was a smooth sailing boat of a monster he had already built and invested so much into. Meanwhile, Kamala Harris had to throw together a similar mechanism to attempt to win an election in 110 days. So, you know, going on podcasts was her last priority. Meanwhile, it was probably one of his last priorities too, but he got to the point where he could focus on the last priorities. But obviously, right, I don't think that talking to the Nelk boys or not talking to the Nelk boys is what is going to inevitably determine somebody as being fit or unfit to serve our country as a good president.
No, that's 100% fair. I think, though, not just going on to the Nelk boys, I think his ability to, I guess, swallow his own pride and realize that he can't just get his name out here the old-fashioned way.
Swallow his pride? Trump can't swallow his pride. He's so bad at swallowing his pride. Last week, he literally said that it is now illegal for the media to criticize him because of his pride.
I guess in the way that I'm saying it, I mean, he was able to say, like, all right, I can't win this election the old-fashioned way. I need to relate to the younger generation because I think he won. If I'm not mistaken, I think you'd be better at this than me. Did he win the younger vote more than the Biden-Harris administration?
No, I think that the younger Americans still disproportionately voted for the left, but we have seen upticks in conservatism trending in the younger vote. However, once again, like you were just describing that you fell for the propaganda. Because you're telling me that you support this tyrant as president that's been passing terrible policies, terrible character, one of the most atrocious, people to ever serve inside of the executive branch of this government, that has been disrespecting the world because he sat down on a podcast with Steiny and Kyle.
Why do you think he ran for president then, if you don't mind me asking? Do you think he did it for his own personal gain, just to spread the Trump name more?
I think that he ran for president to keep himself out of jail, and he ran for president just for power.
So you think he did it just for personal gain and not for the personal interest of the country?
Because he's done nothing in the personal interest of the country. Tell me one thing that he's done in the last 8 months to help the average American.
I was actually just going to ask you that. You can't name a single thing that he's done in his entire terms of presidency that has helped the American public?
Yeah, I can't name a single thing that he's ever done that has helped the average American more than the top 1%. Can you?
I mean, if I had more time, I think I could. But I mean, I feel like his policies are pretty well. I guess I can't.
What's like a good Trump policy that you're a fan of?
I'll be honest with you. You got me on that one. I can't name them, but I just know for a fact.
Are you actually 20?
No, I am 20. I swear to God.
Okay, go ahead.
Do you think I'm not 20 because I can't name a policy?
I would.
Or just because I'm ill-informed on the topic.
What? Do you want?
You can be honest.
Do you want me to be honest?
Yeah, I think I'm ill-informed on the topic as well. I just wanted to come on and ask you.
I'm going to be honest here. The reason why I asked you that question is because, I don't know, just saying that you support Trump as president because he went on Steiny and Kyle's
No, I don't think
podcast
it's
on
just
Nelk.
that.
But then
I
you don't
think
know, like, anything that he's ever done to the country. Like, I feel like that's something that, like, a 16-year-old would tell me. And that's not supposed to be disrespectful. I mean, I think that
No,
we're
it's
all at, like,
fair.
our
I
different
understand.
stages and, like,
Yeah.
our development through life, and that it's a really good thing for us to all become more politically informed. And I appreciate you for taking a step in that direction, but that doesn't change the fact that, like, you voted with, like, an incredibly immature mindset.
No, 100%. I think that's a fair stance that you have towards me. But I guess I also came on here to further expand my political like mind on these types of topics. So
right.
I guess lastly to ask is, do you think that this upcoming election, the Democrats will take a better stance towards connecting with the youth, or do you think they'll continue on with their campaigning of just trying to win the old-fashioned way by just getting random votes? I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like,
Listen,
what do you think?
One of my
they'll
biggest,
do?
I have a lot of gripes with the Dems, okay, and many of them are public. one that maybe is not too public as one of like the largest Gen Z political influencers in American media on the left is like a lack of activation from politicians, right? I think that the right is doing it better than the left with the activation of politicians and like new media, but only marginally. And it's not because they're exceptional, but rather because the left just isn't doing anything. Okay. Right. I could share so many stories about trying to get, Democratic politicians to come on this live or to collaborate with me to, get them involved with the new media and the people. And it's nearly impossible. It's nearly impossible, right? Funny enough, you won't believe this, but it's true. The best any politician is doing in connecting with new media is Obama. Believe it or not. Obama and Obama's team are leading the curve on the left with being involved in new media and Gen Z, and you probably don't even know it because a lot of that is
I probably
behind
don't,
the
only
curtains.
because I probably don't see that not only because it's more behind the curtains, but also because I'll admit my feed is primarily pointed towards the right. So,
but I mean, I see that changing. Like, I'm not Newsom's biggest fan. There's a lot of issues I have with him, but he's been killing it on Twitter, clowning on Trump and shit. And I'm hoping that more people will see how that has increased his visibility and popularity so fucking much. And out of like self-interest of wanting to be a more predominant politician, like following his footsteps.
Yeah, and lastly, if you have like 30 quick seconds, I was just going to ask you, what do you think the upcoming election after Trump is out and everything? Do you think the Democrats will do for kids my age and like young adults and stuff like that, trying to get a house and so on and so forth?
I think that the Democrats are actually doing all right with policy for younger Americans. You just don't know it. Kamala Harris ran on a policy to give you $25,000 to buy your first house. She did. Kamala Harris ran on like quadrupling the child tax credit, which disproportionately would have benefited younger Americans with new families so much. Women's access to abortion. What's that?
How would she have gotten that funding though, without raising
question. That is such a silly question. Well, her tax policy, as reported by the CBO, I apologize for calling that a silly question. I will.
No, it's fair. I'm still learning. I'm still getting it. It's fair.
Yeah, I understand that. I understand that you're genuinely asking that. My bad. So overall, like her policy was estimated by the CBO to cost $2.1 trillion, and it was actually going to be self-sufficient over the 10-year lifespan of the bill by marginally increasing the corporate tax rate, marginally increasing marginal taxes for personal income over $400,000, while also giving like the government a good opportunity to save on Medicaid spending by giving our government more renegotiated ability with the private pharmaceutical companies that sell drugs that are covered by Medicaid. It would have paid for itself over 10 years. Trump, on the other hand, he signed in that $4.5 trillion big beautiful bill. Just debt. Not going to pay for itself. It's only going to generate that debt. But I appreciate you for the questions, man. Anything else?
Yeah, man. Not a problem. That's it. I thank you, and I hope you stay safe and have a good one.
Yeah, you too, man. I think that there's like new trends in the Democrats. And like the Democrats that are winning right now are the ones that are connecting with younger Americans. Like, I didn't even mention him to that last guest. I should have. Like, think Zoran Mamdani. Like, no establishment support, no backing. Like even Kamala Harris kind of gave a really weak response about his candidacy for the mayor, but he's killing it out there just because of how well he's connecting with the youth. What's up, Tony? Do you support Trump? All right, Tony's not here. We're gonna
Yeah,
go.
I do. I just got on a plane. Sorry.
Tony just got on a plane. Tony, it was too laggy, so I gotta kick you. But don't be TikToking and planing. I don't think that's gonna work. What's up? Do you support Trump?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay, how old are you?
19.
19. What year are you born in?
Hello?
What year are you born in?
2006, October 2nd.
Okay, can you disconnect any and all Bluetooth devices that you have connected to your phone? You sound weird.
Yeah, it's my AirPods. Hang on one sec.
Okay, while you're doing that, I want to thank a handful of people. Let's see here. Kiefer, thank you for the $10 over on Venmo. I'm going to check that tweet out. Thank you so much, Kiefer. As well as Greg, thank you for the $10 as well. Greg dropped a message just saying thank you. Well, thank you, Greg. I really appreciate that. That is very, very kind of you. As well as Zach with the $5, thank you. And Allison, thank you so much for the $50 over on Venmo. Holy shit, Allison, that is so much money. Thank you so much for your kindness. I want to see 500 Allison W's down below in that comment section. By the way, I kicked him because he was lying about his age. But seriously, Allison, thank you so much for the $50. That is so incredibly kind of you. Allison says, but if Biden or Harris spent times on podcasts and social media, MAGA would whine. They aren't focusing on the important things. Yeah, I actually agree with you. I agree with you there, Allison. They'll always find a way to whine. Thank you for the $50. Let's see 500 Allison W. Seriously, thank you for the love. As well as Jennifer with the $10 saying, as a leftist, I agree that the left hasn't done enough to reach out to the youth. But for the fact of the matter is, Dems still have the country's best interests at heart. Thanks, Dean. Well, I appreciate you for the love, Jennifer. As well as T, thank you so much for the $25 on Venmo, saying you give me hope, Dean. Don't stop educating the masses. I really appreciate that from you, T. Thank you so much. I'm happy that you're here. I'm happy that the stream gives you hope. And thank you so much for the very generous $25 donation. And then Grace, thank you for the $20, saying you are one amazing human. Love listening to your debates. Thank you for doing the work you do. Thank you so much, Grace, for your incredibly, incredibly kind words. As well as Alyssa, thank you for the $1 on PayPal. And yeah, if you're watching and you want to support me, you could actually find my Venmo and my PayPal in the link tree in my bio. I get 100% of those proceeds compared to like 60% here on TikTok. They go straight to me and I could give you a shout out. Welcome in, Conservative Minded. We talked a few times before. I just have a simple question for you. I genuinely want to see where you stand and what the MAGA theatrics on the issue are.
As far, well, hi, Dean. How's it going? How have you been?
I've been all right, man. Been all right. Been a while. I just have a question.
Yes.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
What are your thoughts on Trump saying that the media isn't allowed to legally criticize him?
Well, I listened to that clip, and I believe what he was referring to, and if you listen to the clip, he talks about government-funded airways. So it is not right for government-funded airways if they are, paying these broadcasters, to publicly put out, news outlets and whatnot, to sit there and turn the words around and use them against the president. That should be illegal. You can't take a narrative and when you're being paid government dollars, turn it to, benefit your narrative. I think that's what he means by it. Now, I mean, you can play the clip and I'll judge the context.
I'll happily clear up the conversation here. So no, like the government isn't like those dogs are kind of.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Let me step away.
I'm gonna put you on mute. So first and foremost, the government isn't like funding like these media organizations. Like it wasn't giving money to Jimmy Kimmel. It's just that like Jimmy Kimmel, ABC, Disney, etc. are allowed to operate on like public broadband waves for like TV dissemination of media and content. And ultimately, because our government is a government, they have claimed control and authority over those public broadband waves. Now, even if the government was giving subsidies to media organizations to stay afloat, I still think it is very fascist and incredibly authoritarian to suggest that therefore they are not allowed to criticize the administration. That is literally state-controlled funding. That is literally state-controlled media. How scary would it be if under the Biden-Harris administration, Biden turned around and had those ongoing subsidies to PBS and NPR, and then Biden said, PBS and NPR, if you guys speak negatively about me at all, regardless if the shit in which you are saying negatively about me is true, I think that that is illegal, and I will not allow that. Would you and every other member of the right not automatically compare Biden to Putin or Kim Jong Un?
So I believe that it is not illegal. I don't know what Trump meant by that, but if he meant it's illegal to criticize him, that's one thing. That's wrong. But I do not believe it is wrong to say that, to twist words to fit different narratives, trying to make a different point that is not even relevant. I think that that's using tactics as a media source to turn a narrative on somebody, and you can't. That shouldn't be allowed.
I think it should.
I don't mind
I think it
critique.
has
I
to
don't
be.
mind critique.
I think it
No, but
has
I
to
don't
be.
mind
I
critique.
think that has to be allowed, because who is going to be the ultimate arbiter of what is a twist of truth and what is truth? Think about it this way: you support the big beautiful bill, right?
No.
Surprised? I thought that you were like a MAGA.
I am. I believe that that was too much money to be produced in one bill without oversight throughout different, you know.
I'm surprised.
You
I'm
know,
surprised. I'm surprised you think that. I can give another example.
They're going to do another CR bill, they're going to try to keep the government going, and now they're going to add more stuff into this bill. Schumer's already put stuff on the table. When you look at this, I already seen this coming. I actually talked to, I don't know if you know Josh Lazatan.
Not familiar.
Okay, he's a I think he's running for Congress or something. I don't know. He's a politician, but he does these lives, and I talked to him about it. And I was never for the big beautiful bill. I think it was too much printed money with not enough oversight.
I'll come up with another example then. I'm looking for something that Trump has done that I disagree with that you agree with.
Okay.
Let me give it.
I do have a question for you.
Well, I want to make this point. Did you agree with Executive Order number 14160, where he tried to take birthright citizenship away from the children of undocumented immigrants born on American soil?
I do believe that should have been done a long time ago.
Okay, all right. So this is a good example. I vehemently disagree with that executive order because I know that it's unconstitutional. And I know that it's unconstitutional for so many reasons. So if I were operating on public, broadband radio waves and broadcasting a televised show, and on this show, the day after Donald Trump signed that executive order into law, I turn around and I say that this is a dark day for America. Donald Trump is not a president that wants to play by the rules. He's a wannabe authoritarian that makes the rules. And his most recent executive order proves me right, as he is now dissenting into a realm of circumvention around Congress to amend the Constitution, or SCOTUS to reinterpret it, or the Constitution in and of itself, and trying to rewrite the rules, change the Constitution by signing this executive order into law. Obviously, can we agree that both you and Donald Trump would consider that to be a contortion of the truth and a creation of a narrative to oppose the administration?
So that was a lot what you just said there. But here's my opinion of this. Maybe it answers your question. If we are developing as a country and things are getting, you look at technology, where technology has come. Do you think that at some points, like certain laws, just say, okay, 2A, right? 2A. Say you walk outside right now and everybody's, going on everybody. I don't know how to say it without saying it, and people are dropping in the streets all around. You'd say, oh my God, 2A, needs to be amended. We need to stop 2A, right? I mean, it's crazy right now, right? If it ever got to a certain point that you can sit there and say, okay, the founding fathers probably didn't think of this. Okay, well, things have gotten to a point to where they do have international people coming over here right before birth, having a child here, gaining citizenship without any background, without knowing where the family comes from, without knowing their stance on America themselves. You can't allow people to just drop in this country, have a child, and say, oh, they get citizenship because that's what our amendment says. The founding fathers never thought that would be the case, in my opinion. It's an opinion.
So I think that you misunderstood my point. I'm down to debate you on that executive order. I love debating that executive order because of how confident in my convictions on it I am. And I even have a lot of issues with what you just said. Like, for instance, in your analogy of people were just dropping dead everywhere because of guns, and we needed to immediately take away everyone's right to own a gun. even in that circumstance, I'd say that a president passing an executive order to try to get it done would actually be really bad and would stall progress, as that would ultimately be caught by the courts, whose job and obligation it is to stop things in which are unconstitutional or illegal. And rather, the way to progress and fix this issue would be to immediately demand that Congress were to ratify a new amendment overruling 2A. So even in that example, right, signing in the EO would be bad, would stall progress, and would only cause more harm. But ignoring that, once again, this wasn't really like the theme of the question that I was asking you. The theme of the question that I was asking you was, well, you said that you actually support Trump making the statement that it's illegal to like criticize him in the media, because what you think he meant was like public TV shows operating on public broadband airwaves, like contorting and changing the truth to propagate a narrative. Ultimately, my response to that was very simple. It's like, who determines what is true and who determines what a false narrative is? Like, for instance, you would say that it is a contortion of truth and a false narrative if I were to be Jimmy Kimmel, operate my own TV show, and suggest that this executive order from Trump was abomination, it was unconstitutional, it proves that he's a wannabe authoritarian that wants to rewrite the rules in which we know and has no respect and a complete disregard for the Constitution, Congress, and SCOTUS. Would you say that my interpretation of the executive order there, if I were to share it on like a public TV show, would be a contortion of the truth and the creation of a false narrative to push anti-Trump propaganda?
Yes, there could be definitely a difference in interpretation depending on what administration's in office, if that's what you're after.
Right.
Yes.
So then you would say that ultimately, because you'd think that'd be contortion of the truth and the creation of an anti-Trump narrative to push his like leftist propaganda, that therefore that'd be illegal. And Donald Trump, if he were to take my TV show down under the guise of saying that it's illegal, you would support that.
Well, you would have to have things in place that dictate the facts. Okay, now when I say dictate, you have fact, and then you have something that is a false narrative.
Who, Brendan Carr? Is that who's going to be in place? Brendan Carr?
No, I don't know, but I'm saying that when it comes down to like a story, like, you know, something comes out about Trump, and then them media outlets turn it to shed it in a negative light. Now we can say that it's just a biased source, but as long as you have the facts, you know, backing up the story, I mean, you can't sit there and twist, almost like the Charlie Kirk thing. Okay, sitting there and saying that it was a MAGA guy. I mean, that come on. I mean, we know that it's not a MAGA guy. Okay.
So are you saying that you don't have that same conviction against my claim that Executive Order number 14160 was a complete unconstitutional abomination that proved Donald Trump is a wannabe authoritarian?
No. He is not a wannabe authoritarian.
So you have the same conviction in the same way you look at Jimmy Kimmel saying that, oh, like the person that killed Charlie Kirk was a MAGA guy, obvious misinformation, take him off air. I agree with Trump calling that illegal. Well, if we had the Dean Withers show, oh, Executive Order number 14160 was an abomination that was unconstitutional that proves that Donald Trump is a wannabe authoritarian. If Brendan Carr at the FCC and the Trump administration were to cancel me and Donald Trump said what I did was illegal, you'd be saying, oh, go Trump. Woo, that's awesome. Take it off air, right?
No, I don't think. Number one, I've heard you speak of facts that, you know, your facts that I could disprove one after the next, and I wouldn't consider you somebody that is government paid to where you have to be corrected.
No, I said if I was running a Dean Withers show just like Jimmy Kimmel Live.
No, that's what I'm saying. So ABC can do what they want; they're a private entity. Okay.
No, we're talking about Donald Trump's comments on what Jimmy Kimmel and others said by saying, well, what they're doing is illegal, and we should have the right to cancel that, and more so the FCC pressuring ABC and Disney into canceling Jimmy Kimmel. So once again, if Donald Trump were to say that I'm doing something illegal, if I were to be a public broadcaster and TV radio waves, and I called him a wannabe authoritarian because of his blatant unconstitutional policies, executive orders, and statements, do you think that if he classified what I was saying as illegal, that you would support him doing so? Or would that be an attack on my free speech that would evidently make you an individual that would not support said action to Trump?
I think the same could be said that you aren't allowing Trump. I am.
No. I'm just asking, like, before you continue, I just need a clear answer here. If Donald Trump would call what I would be saying there about him being a wannabe authoritarian illegal, would you support him calling what I do illegal? Would you support him attempting to get me canceled because it's illegal? Or would you say, Donald Trump, this is an overstep of Dean Withers' right to free speech?
I would say he's overstepping if he got you fired. If he personally fired you, yes, that's an overreach of the government. ABC fired Jimmy Kimmel. Matter of fact, they fired Colbert got fired because he's losing $40 million a year. He was next. Kimmel was next no matter what.
Okay, so you'd say that so if I ran the Dean Withers show on, let's say, Disney's network, I said that Donald Trump is a wannabe authoritarian for reasons XYZ. Donald Trump does a press conference. He says, what Dean Withers said is illegal. He's criticizing me majority of the time. And quite frankly, I think that is illegal. And then Donald Trump directed the FCC and Brendan Carr to go to my overseers, Disney, and say, we're either going to fine the shit out of you or revoke your license unless you get Dean Withers off air. And then they kicked me off air. Would you say that anything that the Trump administration did there was an overstep of my free speech?
If you can provide a source that said that Trump went to the FCC and directed him to say that, because I know the statement you're talking about, that was done by the FCC director. Now,
is
maybe,
the FCC director a part of the Trump administration?
Yes, but you're acting.
So
as
then
if
let me
Trump's
revise
the one
the
that did
Trump
it.
administration.
And Trump, just like anybody, is entitled.
No,
to
this
their
is a
opinion,
semantic
free
dispute.
speech.
We will absolutely just go ahead and reword my argument from Trump to the Trump administration. Instead of me asking you if Trump would be overstepping my free speech, would the Trump administration be overstepping my free speech?
So there's multiple things. Trump used free speech. He did not think what Jimmy Kimmel was right. Matter of fact, he's like, man, ABC should just get rid of him. The FCC director, in turn, on a separate situation, released a statement as
You're not
well.
answering my question. You're deflecting away from the analogy, the hypothetical
No, I'm
analogy.
not, because what you're doing is so you would be okay with taking away freedom of speech, the First Amendment for the president and the FCC director and all politicians. Would you be okay with that?
So you're saying because I think Donald Trump saying that he wants state-controlled media is wrong and we should impeach him for this is me attempting to take away his free speech. So if Biden said that every single cis white conservative man in America should have no right to own a gun, and I think it is illegal for them to exist as a free citizen and should be thrown in jail tomorrow, but ultimately they aren't. If you were to then turn around, call your local Republican congressmen and women, legislators, etc., and call on them to impeach Biden for saying that, would you be infringing on Biden's free speech? Or would you be doing something that is complete?
No, I think anytime you come after somebody for their opinion, okay, it's you are.
What?
No,
Sorry, go ahead and continue.
Maybe I heard you wrong, but wait 1 minute.
No, take your time, man. Because you just said if you called for Biden to be impeached because Biden said he thinks it is illegal to be a free white cis conservative man in America and they should all be locked up tomorrow, that you'd be doing something wrong by infringing upon Biden's free speech. So now we're just going to take this.
I'm sorry. I honestly, I did not hear that part, Dean. My phone with the dog in the back. I swear I did not hear that part. I thought you were referring to if Biden said the same thing as Trump. I'm sorry.
Oh, well guess what? Free speech is free speech. So if Biden said that it is illegal, if Biden said that it is illegal to be a white cis conservative man in America, and if you are a white cis conservative man in America, you deserve to be thrown in jail, and you called for his impeachment, would you be infringing on Biden's free speech, or would you be doing something that you'd think is responsible and right?
I think that saying something like that would be, means for almost incitement. If you're talking about jailing a bunch of white people because they own guns, or, I don't think that.
So when Trump says it is illegal to criticize him in the media, it is free speech. But when Biden says it's illegal to be a white conservative guy, it's incitement.
So you're saying that Trump saying that people shouldn't criticize him on government-funded airways is the same thing as Biden saying let's lock up every cis white man that has a gun?
Well, I'm saying that calling things that are illegal, that are evidently not illegal, in fact, are things in which we have a constitutional right to be, is incredibly terrifying for the future of this country and dystopian to the quote-unquote free democracy I want America to be. Right? And the reason why I use that analogy about Biden and the circumstance that I posited is just to demonstrate the absurdity of your reaction to my claims about Donald Trump and his statement surrounding canceling and silencing the media that criticizes him. Right? And it seems like my analogy worked there because when I employed said analogy, you completely shifted your mind space away from saying it's free speech, let the president say whatever the hell they want, even if it is an incitement upon our constitutional rights and an automatic demand for impeachment because it's demonstrating that they don't want to be a president that wants to play by the rules, but rather an all-powerful leader that wants to make the rules. And I posited the analogy in the set of being a white conservative man. Then you got it. It was no longer an issue of free speech, and it was an issue of incitement.
Well, you like to do this. You like to take like a far out reach.
That's how
and
logic
try to
works, my
compare the
friend.
two.
That's how argumentation and debate works.
That's how you take and you use you basically justify your stance by taking something so radical and applying it, and you can't do that.
What is the logical symmetry breaker between Donald Trump saying the media can't criticize him, it's illegal, and that being perfectly fine, and Biden saying white men can't be conservative, that's illegal, and that being incitement? What is the difference? What is the logical difference between those two statements? Keep in mind, I'm now revising my statement to be identical to that of Trump's. Okay.
Trump aired his opinion. And if Biden, now, if you're thinking logical, Dean, you would say if Biden said that about, let's just say, Tucker Carlson, okay, would you think that is
you're not answering my question.
The government overreaching? Yes, I am.
Just to repeat my question because I want to make it clear, what is the logical symmetry breaker between Trump saying that it is illegal to criticize him in the media and Biden saying it is illegal to be a white man that's a conservative? Because you're taking issue with one, but then the other is fine.
You just said that they should all be jailed.
No, I'm completely just revising my statement to Biden saying that it is illegal to be conservative if you're a white man.
Because there is an incitement rhetoric behind telling all the white people, cis that have, pew-pews, that they should be locked up. There's an incitement.
I'm just saying it's illegal. I'm just saying it's illegal. The statement is, you're not even listening to me. What is the difference between the two following statements? Trump saying it's illegal to criticize him in the media, and Biden saying it's illegal to be conservative if you're a white man.
I just told you. One is a rhetoric that's dangerous. The other one is him sitting there giving his opinion that the guy should be fired because, he's sitting there.
So why is it rhetorically dangerous to suggest that it's illegal to be conservative if you're a white man?
You said that all cis men with guns should be locked up. That was your original statement.
Bruh, okay. I've revised the statement to be more analogous.
Okay.
Biden just says it's illegal to be conservative if you're a white man. Trump says it is illegal to criticize him in the media. Do you take issue with what Biden said?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think that would be grounds for impeachment?
Well, the thing is, Biden.
Could you just tell me yes or no? Would that be reasonable grounds for impeachment?
I don't know because I don't know exactly what impeachment inquiries have to define.
Okay. Just assume that the articles.
I don't know. I'm telling you, I don't know because I don't know what kind of articles could be brought.
Let me be more clear. Would that be reasonable grounds to not support him as president?
I think it's reasonable grounds to say that Trump gave his opinion.
That's not what I asked you. If Biden said that it's illegal to be conservative if you're a white man, would that be reasonable grounds to stop supporting Biden as president?
Yes.
So then why is it not reasonable grounds to stop supporting Trump as president when he says it's illegal to criticize him in the media? Boom. Cooked. Debate over.
It's an opinion. It's not cooked.
But isn't that just Biden's opinion too?
So you're saying
debate over.
Make it illegal for white people to own guns is the same as saying
debate over.
Is the same as saying that
that's
Trump
not even what I said. That's
ABC should fire him for taking a fax.
Come on. Now you're completely changing the statements. The statement was you said that if Biden were to say that it is illegal to be conservative if you're a white man, you would say that is reasonable grounds to stop supporting Biden as president. But when Trump says it's illegal to criticize him in the media, that is not reasonable grounds to stop supporting him as president. When there's literally no difference between these two statements in any relevant sense to dictate that one is reasonable and one is unreasonable grounds to support or not support a president to stop supporting an individual as president. And I even know that there's no difference between these statements because even in your last attempt to respond to my argument to demonstrate that you're still right even though you look insane right now, your only response was to literally contort, twist, and change my statements. No, I did not say you're just going to lock up every white man with a gun. I said he would say that it's illegal to be conservative if you're a white man.
Okay. You're talking about somebody that creates laws that has executive authority saying that it's illegal to be a white man. Okay. You are sitting here.
Trump, executive authority, creates laws illegal to criticize him in the media. Cooked.
No. Did he create a law for that? No. He did not.
Just like in my analogy, Biden didn't create a law to make it illegal to be conservative as a white man. He merely said it, and you still said that'd be reasonable grounds to stop supporting him as president.
Because of the grounds of the rhetoric, Dean. Come on, you're smarter than us.
So then you're saying that it's actually not the grounds of actually creating the law. It's the grounds of
behind
the
the
rhetoric
rhetoric.
in of itself. So then when you just
Yes.
asked me in response to me saying Donald Trump said it was illegal to criticize him in the media, it's not on the grounds that Donald Trump is actually creating the law, but rather it's the grounds in the rhetoric in of itself. And you should understand this, and this
Yep.
should be reasonable grounds for you to stop supporting Trump, as you're
What
the one
you're
that
doing-
actually originally made the argument about the rhetorical grounds being sufficient to stop supporting
What
the
you are
individual's
doing.
president.
Well, I know what you're doing, Dean. Listen, hear me out, okay? What you're doing is you're taking Trump's opinion, and then you're sitting there taking Biden and comparing the two and acting as if Trump got Kimmel fired, and he didn't. That's the thing.
We're not
Trump
even
can
talking
have
about
the
Kimmel.
opinion
You're
that
once again,
ABC
you're
can be
reshifting.
fired.
You're reshifting, right?
No,
my
you
argument.
are
You
taking
are
illogical
reshifting. You're
arguments and you're
reshifting my
molding
argument because
them.
you know you can't beat it.
No,
you are
you're
falsely representing my position because you know that you can't beat it. You are hoping. You are hoping.
Tell me what I falsely represented.
Of course.
Tell me what I falsely represented.
Of course, because in response to my argument, just merely mirroring Trump's rhetoric of saying that it is illegal to criticize him in the media, to the hypothetical rhetoric of Biden saying it is illegal to be conservative if you're a white man, you cannot point out any difference insofar as why you would say that it's reasonable grounds to stop supporting Biden. But then when it comes to Trump, it's just this free speech that we should all accept. In fact, if you don't accept it, then you're the problem. And your deflection away from this is to reconstruct my argument to involve Jimmy Kimmel at all. In fact, my argument does not involve Jimmy Kimmel at all. My argument does not involve Brendan Carr at all. My argument does not involve ABC, Disney, or the FCC at all. In fact, my argument is something that you have already said yourself, just merely the rhetorical sentiment of suggesting that something such as a political affiliation or your speech and criticism of the government is illegal is sufficiently good reason to stop supporting said individual as president. So stop it with the contortions of my position. We are not talking about ABC. We're not talking about Disney. We're not talking about Jimmy Kimmel. We're not talking about the FCC. We're simply talking about a comparison between the statement that Donald Trump made, which is it's illegal to criticize him in the media per his own opinion, and comparing that to the once again hypothetical statement that Biden made, suggesting that it is illegal to be conservative if you're a white man in America in his opinion. To recap, one last final time, you said if Biden said that, because of the rhetorical problems with him just saying that as an actor of the executive branch of government, as a lawmaker in possessing said authority, that would be more than enough reason to stop supporting Biden as president. So why don't you mirror those identical virtues onto Trump as the current president, a lawmaker, an actor of the executive branch of the government that has authority, when saying that it would be sufficiently good reason to stop supporting him because of the rhetorical propagation of his statement that in his opinion it's illegal to criticize him in the media?
Because again, it was his opinion, and he never made a law that got Jimmy Kimmel fired, and that's the truth. And you're trying to twist it to where. All right, let's go on to something else because I have other things to talk to you about. No, this is just you're taking a radical idea and you're trying to twist it to mold your narrative about what should be illegal. Well, I got one question for you.
No, I'm not going to answer it. I'm not going to answer your question. I want you to respond to the argument. You're still doing the thing where you're deflecting to Jimmy Kimmel and ABC.
So take away Trump and Jimmy Kimmel and ask me a question.
No. Take away Jimmy Kimmel, leave Trump, and answer to my argument comparing the statement made by Biden hypothetically and the statement that was actually made by Trump, and the fact that you, for whatever reason, think that one is free speech and completely reasonable. Meanwhile, the other one is sufficient reason to stop supporting Biden as president, even though the statements are identical in virtue of their rhetoric.
Well, number one, okay, when it comes down to Trump saying what he said, again, I say this as clear as possible, to sit there and say as a president that all white men conservatives should be illegal is, you can't even compare it to. And the fact that you're trying to do this, I just don't get it. I don't get where you come from with these far.
It's because political affiliation falls under.
Try to find a level.
It's because political
ground.
affiliation is actually protected by the same amendment of the Constitution in which Donald Trump is threatening rhetorically when he suggests that it's illegal to criticize him in the media. That being the First Amendment right to freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and symbolic speech.
Did he say for the airwaves that they pay for the government-funded airways, it should be illegal to sit there and twist narratives?
It's not government funded, it's government controlled.
Okay, government controlled. Okay, they pay grants to some of these institutions that run these airways. And when you sit there as a government funded entity and sit there and twist narratives to make a president look bad when the facts say otherwise, you are doing propaganda. And no, the US government should not fund that.
Wait. I'm not gonna lie. I'd say that you believe and disseminate propaganda in virtue of being a conservative man. And that's actually true. That's actually true. I think in order to be like a conservative in America today, in order to be MAGA in America today, in order to support Trump as president in America today, you have to believe in some level of propaganda. Yeah.
Why?
Why? Because simply tracking truth, there's no reasonable grounds to support him as president.
You know what?
In fact,
I believe,
and in fact, this argument proves that
I'll
you can
tell you
reasonably
what.
not support Trump as president via the fact that when we mirror your logic onto Biden and his hypothetical statement of saying it's illegal to be a conservative man, all of a sudden that is reasonable grounds to stop supporting him. So, yeah.
Well, I believe you're right. I believe you believe a lot of propaganda, and I'll tell you why. Because throughout the 4 years of Biden's presidency, you championed the border bill as the only way to fix it, and then Trump gets in, puts added security, and guess what happens? The border shut down. But this whole time it was, the Republicans just don't want the border closed. Well, we didn't need a bill to close that border, and you knew that.
Yeah, you just
all
needed
along.
fascism. I get it. Well, this is
Fascism? What, to protect our own homeland? You got to be fascist to protect your own homeland?
No, you have to. No, the fourth tenet of fascism, as described in the literature, would be the identification of an enemy as a unifying cause for your base. And this virtue of fascism is exactly why I believe undocumented crossings into America have fallen. He's identified the enemy as undocumented immigrants. He said that they're violent. He said that they're criminals that escaped mental asylums and prisons, even though they're 2.5 times less likely to commit violent crimes in this country. And then he's turned around and violated their human and constitutional rights by illegally deporting Abrigo Garcia to be beat, illegally deporting Venezuelan immigrants without due process, even though judge told him not to, or illegally blackbagging college students and taking them to ICE detention centers 1,000 miles away against the withholding order of a judge. I find these facts to be the ones in which have disincentivized undocumented border crossing into this country because
you're reading a monologue.
Because it is the case that it just simply scares it away by telling them that they're going to have a lower quality of life once they're in the country. Now, I answered to your deflection because guess what? You said shit that was false, and I like to call out shit that's false on the live. However, I'm not going to entertain any further response to my said answer to your deflection, as once again, I was grilling you on the topic of why you think that Donald Trump was well within his rights to suggest that people don't have free speech to criticize him in the media, but then as soon as Biden would hypothetically suggest that you don't have a right to free speech to a political affiliation, and if you're a conservative man, that's illegal, and how you think that one is completely wrong, one is completely authoritarian, one is completely reasonable grounds to stop supporting them as president, and the other is just merely free speech. You had no argument to respond to that, so instead, you deflected to the mismanagement of the border by Trump in the last 8 months.
Okay, fair enough. I will say the reason why I deflected, if you call it that, is because we are going to have to agree to disagree because we believe two different sides of what Trump did and two different sides of the coin. But there's other things I want to talk to you about, and I didn't want to go back. I respect you as, you know, I've debated you before. I've debated Parker. I've debated Harry. And out of all of them, I respect you the most. You got a well-rounded, you know what you're doing for the most part, but there are flaws within what you do that I could pick apart. And I don't want to get stuck on a difference in opinion on what Trump said.
Okay.
Bottom line.
You'll see the reason why I want to clarify.
I want to
clarify quickly. The reason why we're getting stuck on that quote-unquote difference of opinion is because you cannot find a way to navigate out of that corner. It's not that we're stuck at a difference.
I'm agreeing to
stuck
disagree.
In a corner.
No. It's 100% difference. I'm agreeing to disagree.
Would you agree to disagree if you had an argument to prove me wrong? No.
I do. And I already said it. You're taking a far radical idea of Biden saying all white conservatives should be jailed. And you're comparing it to Trump saying ABC should fire Kimmel for what he said.
Already misinterpreted the position. Already misinterpreted the position. You already misinterpreted.
Well, you've changed it 4 times.
Okay,
so
can I make it clear?
Yeah.
I find there to be no logical symmetry breaker between Donald Trump saying that it is illegal in his opinion to criticize him in the media and Biden saying it is illegal in his opinion to be a white guy that's conservative. Yet, the issue I'm pointing out with you is you find that hypothetical statement of Biden's to be reasonable grounds to not support Biden as president, but you don't find that real statement of Trump's to be reasonable grounds to stop supporting Trump as president. It's
And
not
like I
clocking
said,
to you.
and like I said, no, it is clocking. And like I said, I believe that the rhetoric has something to do with the fact that I would not support him if somebody said, just like, okay, if Biden said a certain ethnicity should be all jailed, I would say the same thing I'm saying again. No, I would not vote for the guy. If anybody thought,
as you should, that should be reasonable grounds to stop supporting Biden.
But that's what you're comparing it to, him saying that ABC should fire Kimmel, and that's so illogical, Dean.
Yeah,
I can't even argue
I'm
it
mad
with
at you. I'm mad at you. Why do you continue to equivocate between Donald Trump saying that it's illegal to criticize him in the media and anything to do with Jimmy Kimmel? I've already re-suggested to you a billion times that my argument has nothing to do with Jimmy Kimmel, and all to do with what he said in the Oval Office the day after Jimmy Kimmel.
Yes.
And
I
merely the
promise
rhetorical
you-
grounds of the sentiment is suggesting that criticizing him is illegal. Merely the rhetorical grounds. Because remember, as it related to that hypothetical statement of Biden, merely the rhetorical grounds of said statement was sufficient reason for you to never support him as president. So why are the merely rhetorical grounds of what Donald Trump said when he suggested that it's illegal to criticize him in the media not sufficient reason for you to stop supporting him as president? Remember,
Because
no Kimmel.
that
Remember,
was-
no FCC. Remember, no Disney. Remember, no ABC. Honestly, if you bring up Kimmel, ABC, Disney, FCC, Brendan Carr anymore, I'm unfortunately going to move on to the next guest. I feel as if we might be approaching an off-ramp by you ignoring everything I said, going back to Jimmy, and not legitimately responding to my argument in good faith.
Okay, you want me to respond to something?
Yes.
And all I'm saying is that I don't see the coincidence that you're putting in front of me. Okay, I think that's fair enough to sit there and say, hey, listen, this topic we just don't agree on, and that's okay. All right, we're not going to come to an agreement. Let's talk about something else, because you started this conversation, but I actually came up here to ask you something else.
I hope you have a good rest of your day, bro. You said that you respect me more than all the other debater counterparts. Maybe that has changed with the most recent development of me removing you from my life. However, I appreciate you for the dialogue. I just cannot do it anymore. Gare Bear, I appreciate you for that dance battle. That's very kind of you. Thank you so much, Gare Bear. I got exhausted, chat. I got exhausted. I don't know, man. I didn't hear a response to the argument. Let's go to move on to the next guest. Hop in that queue if you support Trump as president. All right, here we go. That was actually a pretty good argument. We may continue to bring that one up, because I'll admit it. Like, that last guy we talked to, he's like one of one of the more educated conservatives on the app. You know, obviously from my perspective, I'm never gonna say that like a conservative is like incredibly well researched or educated, because I ultimately think it's gonna be a lack of research or education on particular topics that would conduce to them being MAGA. But like ultimately, if we were to like envision a scale of like least educated, intelligent Trump supporters to most educated, intelligent Trump supporters on TikTok, he falls like pretty heavily towards like the most educated conservatives on TikTok side of that scale. And in my mind, I mean, he didn't even have a response to that argument. So maybe that's an argument that we're going to bring up more. By the way, guys, you know, there's like 4 conservatives in the chat saying that a lot. You can't say that. You can't say that. You can't say that when his argument was agree to disagree. Dude, I swear to God, there's like a certain portion of the chat that are literally bots that like they, to the point where they literally think agree to disagree. It's like you got shit on by the agree to disagree argument. That's so true. That's so true. The agree to disagree arg is just so intellectually rigorous and demonstrated such conviction in refuting my position. No, it was 10 out of 10. Actually, for the people saying that I lost in the chat, you guys are literally Einstein's 2.0. I look up to you. In fact, I will pay you $100 an hour to mentor me on how you became so intelligent. What's up? Do you support Trump?
Yeah. This is weird.
How old are you?
18.
What year are you
2007.
Great. Quickly, before we hop into the debate, there's a handful of people I'd like to thank here. Hey, Jay Lee, thank you so much for the $10 over on Super Chat. I really appreciate you for the love. Make sure to show some love to Jay Lee down below in that chat. Yo, as well as Amy. Holy fuck. Amy, thank you so much for the $100 donation over on Venmo. Amy, that is outrageous. Holy crap. Thank you so much for the love. Let's get 1,000 Amy W's down below in the chat. With $100, Amy said, we watch every day. You're helping my son learn to think critically. Thank you for everything that you do. Shout out to Amy and Amy's son down below in that chat. If you guys are watching right now, I hope that you're enjoying this stream. And thank you so much for your support. Huge shout out to Amy and Amy's son. And I'm happy that the stream's going to have a positive effect on the fam. That's awesome. That's so cool. Thank you so much for the $100 one last time. Thank you, Amy. As well as Shauna with the $5. Thank you so much. And Kimber with the $5 as well. I'd also like to thank Millie. Thank you so much for the $25 donation over on Venmo. Show some love to Millie down below in that chat, y'all. They say, Millie, I hope you continue to spread the truth to the uninformed. Your voice is so important, especially now. Love you and keep up the good work. Thank you so much, Millie. That is such a kind message and also very generous with a $25 donation. Thank you so much for the love. Show some love to Millie down below. As well as Sean, thank you for the $10 on Venmo with a message saying the courage to stand up for what's right. Thank you, Sean. And then Aaron with the $10. Thank you so much as well, saying, can you provide evidence that IUDs can kill a zygote? Yes, just go on Google, type in IUD prevention of implantation. And it is the prevention of implantation that would ultimately starve it to death. And you'll be given like cohorts of research on it. In fact, I even think that some IUDs literally have it listed on the container that you get it in from your doctor. As well as, let's see, Keely, thank you for the $10. I really appreciate you so much for the love. That is very, very kind of you. Let's see. As well as Angela, thank you for the $10 on PayPal saying get pushed. Thank you for the love, Angela. And then Aaron with the $5. And holy fuck, dude. And thank you so much for the $100 donation over. Thank you so much for the $100 donation over on PayPal. Let's get 1,000 Ann W's. Thank you so much. It's so good to see you again. That is so very generous of you, Anne. And with 100 big ones, says your coverage of Trump's press conference yesterday was the best, especially on the panel discussion. Thank you so much. Hell yeah, Anne. That was fun as hell. I enjoyed that so much. I want to do that more and more and more and more and more every time he does one of his silly little press conferences so we could dissect everything he said with a panel of experts on this specific issue. That is so cool. As well as Catherine, thank you for the $20, saying the fact that we have at least several examples of Donald Trump being unconstitutional is insane. Yeah, no, I'm going to go ahead and assume that you sent that donation earlier when I was listing them all off. He does not care about the Constitution in the slightest. By the way, if you're watching and you want to support me, you could find my Venmo and my PayPal in the link tree in the bio or on the top of the phone screen. And you could support me over there. I get 100% of those proceeds. They go straight to me. And I give in, like I just shouted out everyone else, give you a shout out. You could also find that in the pinned comment in the YouTube stream, or you could also support over on Super Chat. I really do appreciate everyone so much for all the love today. You guys have been so very kind. But welcome in, Mr. New Guest. I appreciate you for your patience. Thank you so much. Go ahead and take it away and tell us why you're MAGA. I will send you an invite to unmute. You probably don't even know that your mic is muted.
What?
All right, tell us why you support Trump, man. Take it away.
Whew, okay, let me think. Well, he actually delivers results for Americans. Under his presidency, unemployment hit record lows, especially for Black and Hispanic workers. Wages for working families were rising, and the economy was booming before COVID. He passed tax reform that helped middle-class families keep more of their income, deregulated industries to help small businesses grow, and made the U.S. energy independent for the first time in decades. He also pushed through criminal justice reform like the First Step Act, which reduced recidivism and help people reintegrate into society. Sorry, dude, I'm so nervous. God damn.
You're doing great, bro.
Dude!
You're doing
I've been waiting for like 3 hours, bro, and I just submitted a request and you accepted it.
Listen. I get it.
I had to prepare too.
I will never clown on a guest for being nervous. Because I remember when I was first starting to get into debates on TikTok and whatnot, I would join Parker's stream when he had 1,000 viewers, and I was nervous as fuck. Meanwhile, right now, for your first stream, you're joining one with 23,000 viewers. So
I'm just trying
I totally get it if you're nervous, man.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I ask you a question based on what you've already said?
Sure.
You said that Donald Trump was good for employment, and you had a remark about like the level of unemployment for Black Americans under his administration, saying that reached a 50-year low. This meant he was good for them, right?
Yes.
So that 50-year low was in August of 2019 at 5.3% per the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Now, we actually saw under Biden in April of 2023, the level of unemployment for Black Americans was at 4.8%. And in December of 2023, it was at 5.2%. And in January of 2024, it was at 5.3%, meaning that under the Biden-Harris administration, they were able to meet or go lower than that same level of unemployment for Black Americans 3 times. Does this mean that you think that the Biden-Harris administration was better for the employment of Black Americans than Trump?
It's important to look at the context and the trajectory, not just single monthly numbers. Under Trump, the unemployment rate for Black Americans dropped steadily from over 7% when he took office to 5.3 in August 2019. That's a historic multi-year trend that wasn't just like a blip. It was just in progress over years of policy, including tax cuts and deregulation and incentives.
I could play this game too. I could play this game too. Are you ready? When Biden got office, the level of unemployment for Black Americans was 10.2%. And
What?
it dropped from 10.2%
Wait, I didn't.
to
Can you repeat yourself?
3.2%. Sure. The way that you responded to my claim was by suggesting that we have to look at the trend of unemployment for Black Americans under the Trump administration and how it went from at the beginning of his term at 7.1% to, in April of 2019 to 5.3%. Well, we could play that same game. There was better and quicker drops from higher levels of unemployment under the Biden-Harris administration, going from 10.2% in April of 2021 to 4.8% in April of 2023. I could play that game too. Are you ChatGPT in your arguments, by the way?
No, you would hear me typing. I'm on my PC, but I'm on my phone.
Okay, go ahead.
So do you want me to address what you just said?
Yeah, I do.
There's a big difference in context here. The drop under Biden-Harris came after the economy was crashing from COVID lockdowns. That 10.2 in April wasn't natural. It was artificial, created by the pandemic and government shutdowns. It looks fast, but it's just a bounce back from unprecedented lows, not like a sustained policy-driven growth.
You're
Under
right.
Trump,
I'm going to cut you off there. You're right. The reason why the level of unemployment for Black Americans at the beginning of their administration was so high was because of the pandemic. Seemingly now you're arguing that external variables can impact how and what things happen inside of a functioning economy. You did not isolate for said external variables when you told me that because the level of unemployment for Black Americans was so low in April of 2023, it was Donald Trump's doing. So what I will now ask you to do is to isolate for all external variables could possibly influence how and what things happen inside of the American economy by describing to me exactly what Donald Trump did to achieve such low levels of unemployment for Black Americans.
Do you mind if I look something up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Take your time, dude. No,
Okay.
take your time. While you're doing that, Tessa, thank you so much for the $5 over on PayPal. Tessa says, I debated a Maga Bible thumper yesterday. Use information I got from watching you in Parker's Live every day. Thank you for all that you do. Tessa, did you destroy him? I bet you did. As well as Navy Girl, thank you for the $10. And I'm sure putting up with Maga all day is mentally exhausting. It's my nature. I do this every day for 4 hours. It honestly isn't too exhausting. I love it. Thank you for the $10, Navy Girl. As well as Angela, thank you for the $10 once again on PayPal, saying get push. Appreciate you for that love. Very, very kind of you. Very, very, very kind of you. I'd also like to thank Mallory. Thank you for the $5 on Venmo, as well as your message. I appreciate you for that love. As well as Ida, that is IDA. Thank you for the $20 donation over on Venmo. Thank you so much for the love, IDA. IDA says, you are awesome, Mijo, and greatly appreciated. Thank you so much, Ida. That is very, very kind of you. I hope that you're having a good day. I appreciate you for being here. I hope that you've supported that you've liked this stream so far. Show some love to Ida down below in that chat. Thank you so much for the $20, as well as Nadri. Thank you so much for the 1 penny. I do appreciate you so much for the love, as well as Anonymous. Thank you so much for the $50 donation over on Venmo. Holy fuck, Anon, thank you so much for the love. That is outstandingly ridiculous. That is so much money. Thank you for your kindness. Anonymous says, Anonymous, please. You do a lot of good. Glad you didn't get raptured today. Need you here. Oh yeah, that's right, guys. I missed the rapture. I didn't have the tinfoil hat, and I wasn't looking up. And I saw a TikTok video that said I needed to be naked in my front yard. I didn't do that either. Fuck. We're doomed. We're so doomed. Thank you for the $50. I appreciate that. Thank you, Anonymous. As well as Joseph. Thank you for the $10. Saying thank you for speaking in a way we wish we could. Anyone is capable of it. Anyone is capable of it. It just comes with practice. You know what I mean? I appreciate you so much for the love. As well as Alyssa with a $5 on PayPal saying, did you see the statue? What statue? I'm not familiar with any statue. I appreciate you guys. Go ahead.
Oh, you're ready for me?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready for you. I'm ready. I'm ready.
How do I? Okay, never mind. So let me just. I want to have the thing pulled up. .org. Okay. I mean, unemployment for Black Americans under Trump wasn't like by chance. He did stuff that helped people get jobs. The tax cuts made it easier for businesses to hire more people, especially in entry-level jobs. He cut back on regulations so small businesses and factories could grow and take on more workers. Programs like the Opportunity Zones. He brought money and jobs to neighborhoods that needed it. The First Step Act helped people who had been in prison get back into the workforce, which helped a lot of Black Americans. He also supported apprenticeships and training programs so young people could get skilled jobs. Okay. I still had whatever. I already lost my train of thought.
Okay, all right. That's so. Your first argument was to say that he was able to reduce the level of unemployment through the tax cuts. That's not true. So point number one, two Harvard economists did a study on the tax cuts that indicated it only grew our GDP by 0.04% per year. So its economic impact was marginal. And point number two, the financial institution by the name of Brookings did a study on the outcome of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act after Donald Trump's first term was over. And they concluded that it incentivized no new macro level business reinvestment. However, it would be that new macro level business reinvestment onset by the tax cuts in which would be used to pay for new employees. So in other words, the tax cuts did not cause the unemployment rate to go up or down, as it caused no significant change in new macro level business reinvestment. Your first point was wrong. Your second point was to say, well, he deregulated things, and this made it easier for companies to hire. So insofar as his deregulation, I just ask you to clarify what deregulation made it easier for companies to hire. I will, however, say that he actually added more regulation onto small businesses by getting rid of the progressive corporate tax rate and replacing it with a static corporate tax rate, increasing the corporate taxes on small businesses. Point number three, you said that the First Step Act that helped get individuals out of jail may have helped the level of unemployment. That's not true. Unemployment is not calculated by the amount of working Americans divided by the amount of all Americans. In fact, it is calculated by the amount of working Americans divided by the amount of able to work Americans, meaning that we're going to be excluding the elderly, we're going to be excluding a lot of minors, and we're going to be excluding people in school and jail. So no, the First Step Act did not have any impact on unemployment.
I think you're. Hold on, I gotta okay. I think you're missing the bigger picture of how businesses actually operate.
Go back to the script. Oh, wait, you're back. Go ahead.
What?
No, go ahead.
The tax cuts didn't just improve GDP numbers. They put more money in the hands of business owners and workers, which allowed companies to expand, raise wages, and hire more people.
But they didn't, as I suggested from that Brookings study, they didn't take that money and put it back into their businesses.
Point of GDP.
I gave you a study to prove that when they had that additional money, they didn't take it and put it back in their businesses. Look up Brookings study, TCGA, no new macro level business reinvestment. You're right to suggest that this gave rich people more money because it cut their taxes, but you're wrong to suggest that they took that money and put it back into their business to hire new employees, and that is proven by the Brookings study that I gave you.
What do I look up?
Brookings Financial Institute, TCJA, no new macro level business reinvestment.
Okay.
This is killing me, bro. This is killing me. I'm
even
having
if
so much fun.
even if big companies didn't reinvest all the money, the tax cuts still gave small businesses more breathing room, and those are. I'm done. I'm gonna kill myself.
Well, don't do that. I'd assume that he meant that in like metaphorical sense. So it was just a bad attempt at a self-deprecating joke, not seriously. Which I don't think we should be doing that. But if that was serious, like, don't do that. Now, that guy was just using GDP the whole time. And I kept him up here, even though I knew he was doing that. Just to see, like, if I could keep up with the GDP. Wait, not the GDP, sorry, the GPT. Sorry, whoa. And apparently I can. I can keep up with a GPT. I am a better debater than AI, okay? GPT, get pushed. Perplexity, get pushed. Google AI, you're wrong. Somebody in the chat just said you're using GPT too. How could that be true? Like maybe, am I on the ultra mega plan? You know how you could pay like $400 per month to get access to like Grok Ultra? Yeah, that's right. I'm just using Grok Ultra. He's using the measly free plan of ChatGPT. Get pushed. Get pushed. Quite frankly. Okay. I'm sorry. I was having too much fun. We're going to go ahead and do one more debate of the night before we do end. Let's go ahead and do that now. Hop in that queue if you're an American adult that supports Trump as president. We're going to get you loaded up here. If you want to support me, my Venmo, my PayPal are at the top of the phone screen there. In fact, I want to thank a handful of people. Let's see here. Haley, thank you for the $15 over on Venmo, saying dude is totally using ChatGPT. No, he was. Kelsey with the $10 saying, Aideen, there have been a lot of MAGA protests around my campus recently, and my friends and I have started debating them with the things that you've said. Thank you for everything. Let's fucking go, Kelsey. Hell yes. Let's go. That is awesome. As well as Gare Bear. Thank you for the $10 on Venmo. Saying Gare Bear will start donating here so you get a higher percentage. Keep going. Dude, Gare Bear, I appreciate you for the love, man. I'm not going to lie. I do love the gifts. You know, they're fun. You've been very fun with them. You've been sending them at very comedic times. And I do really appreciate you for the support, man. Seriously. As well as Altered Dreams with the $10 saying you said that you're on Trump's email list. How do you deal with that? I want to smash my head into a wall from the cringe. Yeah, it's pretty bad, but every so often you'll send an email out that I need to see because of how egregious it is so I could talk about it. Thank you so much for the love, Altered. You're awesome. Very awesome indeed. As well as, let's see here over on PayPal. Mallory, thank you for the 10 Canadian dollars, saying I hope that your cat is feeling better today. She is. No, she is. I work at an ER vet, and I know how those visits can be so stressful. Oh, we were stressed the fuck out. We thought she was dying. As well as Andrew, thank you for the $10, saying been following you and Parker for a while now, and I've seen how you've directly inspired people in the UK to get more active. That's fucking fantastic. Thank you for telling me that, and thank you for the $10. I'd also like to thank Courtney for the 7 and Brandy for the 5. Thank you guys so much. As well as Ellie, thank you for the $25 donation over on PayPal. Thank you so much, Ellie. Ellie didn't leave a message, only the love. Thank you so much. Then Olive with the $15 on PayPal says, I hope that my son grows up to be like you, but Christian, lol. Dude, I love that so much. I talk about a lot of my critiques of Christianity because the people that I talk to that are parroting it are those that contort it and from a symbol of like love and hope into a weapon of hate and division. I love like good Christians. I think it's so awesome, man. So cool. As well as, let's see. One moment. Welcome in. I just want to verify. How old are you?
19.
What year were you born in?
2006, July 6th.
And what time is it?
What time is it for me?
Yep.
It is 7 a.m.
We're just looking to talk to people from America, though, bro. You have a good rest of your day. Moving on to the next guest. Here we go. Yo, Kellen, thank you for the $10 on Super Chat, saying, yes, a super AI computer known as the brain. Facts. As well as a Maeve, thank you for the $20 on PayPal. Maeve says, absolutely love the debates. The knowledge you have is powerful, and I can't wait for your time in office. I don't ever know. I don't even know if I'll ever be in office. I guess we'll just have to see, but I appreciate you for the love. As well as A, thank you so much for the $15 on PayPal, saying first donation, but definitely not my last. Keep up the great work. My name is pronounced Atreyu. Atreyu. Thank you for the $15. I didn't know how to pronounce your name, so I just called you A. But Atreyu, thank you so much for your kind words and for the $15. You were awesome. What is up? Do you support Trump?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Sorry. Yes. That was just very with conviction. Okay. How old are you?
I'm 48.
I believe it. Take it away. Why do you support Trump?
Oh, no, really? Do I sound that old?
No, wait. I'm sorry. After I said it out loud, I thought back. I understand how that could have sounded wrong. It was just more so. I don't think that you're a kid. My bad. That was that was a rude comment. I didn't think before I spoke there. Take it away. Tell us why you support Trump. God damn. I'm sorry.
Honestly, over the years, I've never been really too political until Trump first ran. I was not a fan of Hillary, and I liked the realness of him. I don't like everything about Trump, but there isn't a single person on this earth that I like everything about anyway. And a lot of the policies, the secure borders, the tariffs, I'm starting to actually agree with. They're just kind of along those lines. And by the way, my kids watch you every night, so I hear you while I'm cooking dinner.
Are they MAGA? Are they liberals? Are they based? Are they losers?
They're liberals, I would say. But listen, we have open debate in our house, and it's always civil, and we listen to each other. So,
No, that's great. That's great. Let's start with one topic. Go ahead and just name one specific reason why you support Trump as president. You get a pick. I mean, you just shared a couple things with us: border policy, tariffs, whatnot, so on and so forth. You get a pick. Just pick one. We'll have a conversation about it. Go for it.
I did not like Kamala.
Okay.
Didn't like.
We will start there. Give me an argument that if Kamala Harris was elected in November, America would be worse off today.
It would be still the same like it was under Biden. I don't think there would have been policy changes for human rights, things of that nature, which I'm fine for. But I think it would just stay the same. I wanted change.
Okay. So if you're telling me it would have stayed the same, it would have been the same as it was under Biden, then you're telling me that America would be better today if Kamala Harris was elected. It doesn't matter what economic variable you look at. Look at inflation, look at unemployment, look at GDP growth, look at investment into American businesses. All of these things were on an uptrend in a positive direction when the Biden-Harris administration was serving our country. From the day that Donald Trump won the election to his inauguration until now, every single one of these macroeconomic variables has gotten worse. GDP growth has slowed. First quarter it went down. Feds are telling us it's going to be at 1.4% this year. Meanwhile, it was at 2.5% last year. Long-term unemployment is the highest it's been, excluding the pandemic, since 2017. Unemployment is on the up. Core inflation is on the up. Business and investment in American businesses is going down after exploding for years under Biden and Harris. So once again, just to recap, it is the case that if Kamala Harris was elected and things did stay the same and follow the trends under Biden, you are now telling me that you didn't support her and you don't like her because she would have been better for America.
Okay, so everything that you just said, under Biden, my stocks and my investments and everything went way down. Things are slowly starting to turn around. Grocery stores, and I'm talking just every day. I live in a small town. There isn't much around. Things are slowly starting to get better.
Okay. Real quick.
For me in my life, so to speak.
Random question. Do you have a daughter whose name starts with a D?
A D?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Somebody in the chat just said "Mom, stop." I wasn't gonna air out their name, but I was curious if that was actually your kid. Anyways.
No. One's with me and one ran away. They're like, "Oh my God," ran away.
Anyways, to go back to what we're saying, you're telling me that maybe like your investments have boomed since Donald Trump's been in office. Maybe the goods at your local grocery store cost less. So I'm going to start off by responding to that second point about the price of goods in the grocery store. If you go on Google, you type in BLS, which stands for Bureau of Labor Statistics, average grocery prices, you will see the price of every single commodity in the grocery store outside of lemons and iceberg lettuce, for whatever goddamn reason, has gone up since his inauguration on that macro federal scale. And if you want to respond to this by saying, well, the goods at your local grocery store have gone down, all that you're telling me is that when we isolate for these federal factors, such as Donald Trump's administration and the impact that they've had on the macro scale nationwide, you're experiencing something different, which in all reality tells me that that has to do with your local economy that is not speaking for the policy of Trump nor the average of the country. And to respond to your first point about stocks and whatnot, yeah, we see that in the last 6 months, the S&P has gone up by year to date actually would be 13%. But if you look back at the last 4 years, 13% is rather average for the S&P. But what isn't average for the S&P is the fact that from March to, let's see here, mid-April, the market crashed and went down by like 7% because he imposed his tariffs and then revoked them. So although I don't think that Donald Trump is doing anything too crazy now to immediately impact the stock market too drastically, it is the case that would have been better off without the crashes because that's market volatility that no investor wants, meaning that we would expect better returns year to date if Kamala Harris was elected. And another point that I could bring up is that last quarter, 52% of companies in the S&P 500 specifically reported lower profit margins than they did in quarter one when the GDP went down. This is an indicator of future very terrible economic performance because if these companies aren't doing well on the quantitative level, then we will expect to see in turns investors lose confidence in the near future.
I have a question for you. What was your favorite thing with Kamala? I'm curious.
My favorite
I'm
thing
sorry, did I say your name wrong?
Kamala, no, you said it right. My favorite thing with Kamala Harris was her ability to speak the truth even when people didn't like to hear it. If I'm going to be honest, she predicted everything that Donald Trump is doing so far in his term, and she got so much shit for it. She said he's going to deploy the military against you. Fox News, The Hill, NY Press, cycle of look at this crazy woman that's making no sense, that is completely wrong. It ended up happening. She said he's not going to be able to stop Russia's invasion of Ukraine. She was right. Empirically speaking, Russia's dropped the most bombs they ever have. He made it worse. She said that, like about a billion other things. Like, I don't know if I can name any other ones off the top of my head, but you get the point here, is that she spoke the truth, and I appreciated her for that, not to mention her policy, which is significantly better than Donald Trump's. The juxtaposition of Kamala Harris and Trump is like Jesus to the devil. She was running on policy to, continue a boom in investment in the American economy by giving subsidies to our energy producers and chip makers. She ran on tax cuts for 130 million Americans in the low and the middle class. She wanted to ensure that women and girls have access to the health care that they may need. Meanwhile, Trump, on the other hand, is like, I'm going to spend the most money ever, $5 trillion in 8 months. But he's going to take healthcare away from 10 million people in the process and do the largest redistribution of wealth from the poor to the rich in modern American history, while also failing to release the Epstein files, failing to pull through on his promises, doing blatantly fascist shit like illegal deportation, sending people to torture prisons in another country, or saying that the media doesn't have the legal right to criticize him.
Well, doesn't Trump kind of speak the truth too in what his beliefs and stuff are as well?
Not according to the 30,000 lies that he told in his first 4 years.
Okay. Listen, I come from talking of more down-to-earth things. I'm not a debater, and I kind of go on gut with things, and it was just something about Kamala. I don't know. I couldn't get behind her. And also when Biden's met, and I felt really bad for Biden and the medical things and stuff, and she hit it.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
You said that you have kids, right?
Yes.
So imagine that one of those kids is 17, finishing up their last year of high school. They're about to go to college because they want to. If they come to you and they say, I am not mature enough, I'm not knowledgeable enough to make a good decision about what college I want to go to, right? And they were like, Mom, can you please help me to decide which college is the best for my future? Would you respond to them with your gut? Would you respond to them with doing no research, just how you feel in the moment? Or would
No,
you
but I
instead turn
care
around,
more.
sit with your child, and do real
Hold
empirical
on.
research
Dean,
on
there's a
what their
difference
goals
there. I
are
care
and
more
what the
about my kids
university
than I
should
do
be?
about Trump or Kamala. So I would take the time and energy to help my kids succeed, figure out which college.
Well, what matters here is you just told me that taking the time to do your research is going to be conducive towards more success and truth than just merely operating off of your gut. And what you just told me in response to me telling you that here's all the research I've done on the policy of Kamala Harris, here's all the research I've done on Trump and what he's done in the last 8 months, you said, well, I didn't do that research. I didn't spend the time
I didn't.
investigating these things. I went off the gut. And this should kind of be the wake up moment of saying, holy shit, I need to stop what I'm doing and I need to reconsider the way I evaluate the world around me and look at politics because I need to put more care, attention, and time into doing my research than going off my gut. And the last thing you said there, saying you care more about your kids than you do Trump or Kamala Harris, you should care about your kids just as much as you care about who's in charge of the American government, because who is in charge of the American government already is and will continue to have a significant impact on the life that your kids will live in their future.
That's something I realized this year, to be honest, with different things within their lives. And like I said, we talk about it a lot and I listen to them and it makes me put question marks, but
Right. Think about it that way. Your kids are coming to you and saying like, Mom, what about politics? What about what the government is doing? What about how this is going to impact my life in the future? And what about your vote every 2 and 4 years? You shouldn't be giving that your gut. You should be giving that the same reaction that you would give them if they were 17 asking you, what about where I'm going to go to college? Because going to college and what university you attend will have an impact on your future if you do choose to take that path in life. Very similarly to who is governing the country. You need to be looking at those things in the same way. That is the responsible obligation of any good parent. And I appreciate you for your honesty admitting that you just kind of went off your gut and that's how you treat politics. But this should be a wake-up call to take things significantly more seriously.
politics always divides people, and I love all walks of life. I love everybody. So I've always kind of, and honestly, I voted more in the past maybe 10 elections, and before that, never did. Never cared. I just, so.
Well, I'm not asking you to divide your family. I'm asking you to help them.
But no, just
like
even
that's the fact of the matter there. Because when you sit here and you tell me that politics is divisive, you're telling me that if you were to put your time into researching these things and doing what is right intellectually,
my
speaking,
home is
that's going to be
not. My home
conducive
is
towards divisiveness. But the fact of the matter is, no, it's conducive towards flourishment because you're making sure that in your scope of power, with your vote every 2 and 4 years, you're making the most appropriate decision for not just your future, but the future of your children. You're not going to divide your family. You're going to intend to help the family.
My family inside my house is not divided. Outside of my house, yes. I see things when out in public. Oh God, look at that lefty person, or oh God, look at that mega, a-hole, whatever. And it's gross because.
The scope of the conversation I'm having with you right now, I'm not asking you to call Trump supporters assholes. I'm just asking you to make informed decisions about what is the best for the future of your kids.
My little corner where I live, there's been a lot of divide, and it started towards the end of Biden.
Well, I mean, is you ignoring the divide going to make the divide go away? No. So maybe you should be proactively working to do what you can to end that divide by making appropriate decisions about who's in charge. I think a lot of the divide we see in the country today is because we decided to elect a president that blatantly has admitted to hating all Democrats, wishing bad upon his opponents with a snarky nickname for everybody that doesn't agree with him.
Can agree to disagree with that one, I guess.
What do you think created the divide?
Everybody just being nasty to each other. Nobody really coming to the table, sitting down talking. Trump doesn't want to do it. Biden didn't want it. Like, no politicians actually just sit around and talk and try to make good resolutions for everybody.
Right. Unless it's Obama.
Yeah.
Right. Do you think so? Today, Donald Trump attended a UN General Assembly, and he said
I haven't even looked into that yet.
And he said during his hour monologue that the countries of these other leaders were hellholes. He said that. He told them that their country were hell. Do you think that that statement coming out of Trump's mouth is going to be conducive towards more divide or more unity?
More divide. Absolutely.
So now you admit that the rhetoric of those in charge
Both
can either
sides,
bring
yeah.
us together or divide us. And I mean, this is something any parent should understand. You have kids. You get it. Your kids are fighting. What are you going to do? I don't know. Tell them to, have a mental, emotional timeout, then hug each other, something like that. I'm not a parent. I haven't gotten there yet, so I haven't put too much consideration in it. But obviously, like a call for unity, call for people to come together, a call for the depoliticization of human rights, and a call for politics to be boring and forgotten by most Americans and just left to debate about very minimal facts of tax policy, maybe. That's what would truly attempt to unify this country in the coming generations. But obviously, we're not getting closer to that goal at all when we have people like Trump in charge, calling all other countries hellholes, stopping partial shipments into this country because of how much others hate him, saying that he hates all Democrats, and he has identified the unity as a group of people that he doesn't care about, right? It starts with who's in power, who has the authority, and how they respond to moments of potential aggression and division. And every single time that Donald Trump has been presented with a unique opportunity to cool the tensions, he has done the exact opposite.
I can argue with that. There's been times I was like, oh my God, I can't believe he just said that. Oh my God. So I got it. But yeah, my kids are like, oh my God, mommy's on. I'm gonna do some research more tonight, and I was very interested with the UN based off of things that my kids were telling me throughout the day today. And I really hope, as a country as a whole, that we can have these these conversations and not have bad things happen and whatnot. So
I'm just trying to be incredibly respectful to you and honest with you with the time that I have here, because it doesn't sound like you're far gone in the MAGA cult. And it sounds like you have some pretty bright kids. So I really hope that, I gave you a new perspective that, you might be interested in getting more education on.
yes, absolutely, Dean. And we'll be watching you again tomorrow.
Have a good one. Have a good one. All right. All right, folks, real quick. Malawi. I think that's how I pronounce your name. Literally Malawi. Not Mallory. Malawi. Thank you for the $20 over in Super Chat. I really appreciate you so much for the love. Malawi with the $20 says, Dean, I love your lives. They're always on while I do college work. You help me a ton on debates too. Thank you for doing what you do, and please don't stop fighting for us all. Well, thank you so much for your kind message and the $20 donation. I love what I do too much to ever quit. Seriously, I mean that. Thank you so much for your kindness. As well as Emily with a $15 on Venmo says, hey, Dean, love listening to your lives while I'm at work. Have you heard about the Bibles that are being sent out to Oklahoma schools with the incorrect constitution in the back? No, I haven't. I'm going to have to check that out. Holy shit. Thank you for letting me know. As well as Evie, thank you for the $10 over on Venmo. Alicia and Carlos with a 5 and Mary with a 5. Thank you guys so much. And then Chloe with a 5. Thank you. Then Monshi with a 10 saying, get pushed. Appreciate you for the love, Monshi. And then Kayla with the $10 for April's Liberal Kids. Appreciate you for that love, Kayla. Then Kaylee, thank you for the $20 saying, keep it up, Dean. Thank you so much. Show some love to Kaylee down below. And then Natalie with the $20. Thank you so much for the love, Natalie. And then Joshua with the $10 saying, I'm a moderate conservative who voted for Trump and I can't stand some of the people who come up here. Use this to go get yourself some Tylenol for the pain they cause. Joshua, You got to realize that's your side, man. Come over. Come over. Be influenced. Karen, thank you for the $10 saying keep making good trouble. Stay safe. I appreciate you for that love, Karen. That's very kind of you. And then Desiree with the $5. And Constance, thank you so much for the $20 over on Venmo. Show some love to Constance in that chat. Constance says, thank you for you. Thank you so much for the love. That is very kind. I appreciate everyone for the love. You guys have been so fucking ridiculously kind. As well as Shannon, thank you for the $20 on PayPal, saying thank you for standing up for the values of a true patriot and have a wonderful Tuesday. You too, Shannon. Thank you for the 10. And then Daniel with the 12, thank you so much. And Maeve with another 6. Thank you. And then Kitty with the $10 on PayPal says, hey, Dean, I've been watching your live from the beginning, and I've been an OG for a long time, and I really appreciate the work that you're doing. Thank you, Kitty. And if you've been watching for a while, yeah, you've seen how what we do here changes significantly over time. Anyways, for everyone watching, that time has come. It is time for me to get off and go make some dinner. I actually started my live earlier today than most days, so I'm going to be off at 5, meaning I could actually make dinner today. I have really been appreciating and enjoying these streams as of recently. And I really appreciate everyone that has been watching, learning, and possibly taking away new political beliefs. I wouldn't have it any other way, and I love what we do here so very much. I think it's awesome. Everyone in the chat is spamming let TJ up. Who's TJ? Oh, that TJ. Okay. Y'all want it. Why is the whole chat spamming to let you up, TJ?
Yo. Can you hear me?
I can. Why does the whole chat want you up?
I don't know, because I said let me up. And then everybody just started spamming let TJ up.
How old are you?
19.
And you support Trump?
Of course.
Question.
Wait, I got a question.
No, I have a question.
No, wait, hold on. I have one question.
No, but I have one question.
But I have one question first.
No, but I have one question first. Are you ready?
No, wait, no. Let me ask my question first.
No, let me ask my question first.
No, let me ask my question.
On what reasonable ground should I let you ask your question first?
Because this is my life.
Do you typically get silenced on your own live? That's embarrassing.
You can't silence me.
Oh, why are you muting yourself? Since it's your live, you must be doing it to yourself. Why are you muting yourself?
Oops.
Why are you muting yourself?
Why do you hit your vape every 2 seconds?
Yeah, it's not a vape. It's an anxiety pill.
It is a vape.
No.
That thing that you keep in is a vape. Don't.
Let me make myself clear. TJ.
You're a vape.
It's not a vape. It's an anxiety pin. I am sick and tired. No, shut the hell up.
Wait.
Shut up. Shut up. You gotta be quiet. You gotta be quiet, TJ. You're disseminating very hateful misinformation and propaganda. Shut up, DJ. I'm literally crying right now because of the hate speech being espoused on my live. It is not a vape, TJ. It is a goddamn anxiety pin. If you knew your left from your right, you know this from the beginning of time. Listen to me closely while I say this to you, TJ. It is not nicotine. Nicotine is of the devil. It is lavender and caramel, and it reduces my cortisol levels.
You're putting nicotine into your
It's
lungs.
not nicotine!
What the fuck is that?
Okay. All right. Oh, why do I do that to myself? God, I just get carried away. It's so much fun. Okay, I'm actually going to call it. What you're going to see, you're going to find that clip circulated somewhere on your For You page at some point in time in the next 32 days. And a good 85% of the comment section is going to be, why is he crashing out? Why is he so crazy? Why is he so angry over the anxiety pen? And then you'll find a smaller amount of the comments that are like, what anxiety pin is it? I'm just curious. Maybe I want one. And you will find thousands of conservatives taking it so seriously. Anyways, that's it for the day. That was fun. I'm going to go and hop off now. There's your last debate of the day. Y'all have a good one. Peace and love, guys. Parker's going to be on in an hour. See you tomorrow. Make sure to hit that follow button on your way out.